Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Argyle TV for tonight's game between Newport County and Plymouth Argyle in the Papa John's Trophy, the latest of the games that are coming to us very, very thick and fast on this August. And it's also deadline day, so we will be keeping you up to date on anything else that's happening club-wise tonight as we get it. And where better to spend an exciting deadline day than at Rodney Parade in Newport. And you'll be seeing actually on your screens, for those of you that are watching on the Match Pass tonight, well, I won't say this very often, but a fantastic looking pitch at Newport. It should be really, because it's only been played on once. And Newport have actually played their first 4 league games away from home. They've only played 1 game on this pitch, and they lost it 8-0 in the Carabao Cup. More on that in a second. We'll have a little look at Newport's start to the season. But I'm joined once again here tonight on Argyle TV by Brian McGlinchey. Good evening, Brian.
Evening.
It's nice to see that we're going to have hopefully a nice pitch to play on at Newport. It's not always the case, is it? It's normally a bit of a mud heap shared with the rugby teams, but I don't think the rugby started yet, and they've only had 1 game on it since it's been laid over the summer. It's looking very nice.
It is, yeah. I remember watching Newport Spurs in the FA Cup a couple of years back, and there was a bit of a leveller that evening. Spurs had a tough evening, and yeah, the pitch looks beautiful now, so no excuses.
It looked a bit like the old pitch at the baseball ground or somewhere like that. I mean, obviously before your and my time, Brian, but we've seen it on history programmes. The pitches used to look in the old days. Newport, a bit of a throwback on that part. We'll talk about tonight's game in a minute. We're about 7 or 8 minutes away from kick-off in the game tonight. But first of all, Brian, I just wanted to check in with you on the season so far. I think you've seen all but one of Argyle's games so far, and what's your assessment of how the season's gone? Obviously, we can look at points, we can look at how many wins, we can look at the emphatic nature of the wins against, say, Peterborough and Shrewsbury, but sometimes numbers don't always tell. What have you felt about what you've seen from Ryan Lowe's team so far?
I think obviously the first game of the season was probably very disappointing. I think it was a tough place to go for your first game of the season. They were obviously just coming down from the championship, but since then I think the team have got themselves a real structure and a nice way of playing. I think that a defensive sort of recruitment in the summer has definitely helped. I think they look a lot more solid at the back. I think there's a lot more communication there, which is great to see. And yeah, whilst with a few home draws, last obviously Cambridge and on Saturday as well, the draws. There's games where there's just small margins where we could have taken the 3 points. So I'm pretty positive what I've seen. I think obviously we miss Ennis, we miss Mayer. I think once them 2 come back as well, that will add to competition in places. So I think it's all really positive. I think it's building nicely. I think they're getting their fitness, and teams, and also good to see as well, teams are respecting Argyle. They're coming to home park and they're actually coming up with a real defensive shape, and Argyle have to go and break them down, and that's showing the respect that Argyle maybe deserve, and maybe they're going to be a force this year. So I'm not going to make any predictions of where we're going to finish, but because it's really difficult to call, but signs are good, and the money that he had has been spent wisely, and I think there's a good sort of balance to the team this year than compared to last year.
Yeah, I would concur with a lot of that, and I think that a hypothetical that I don't like it when people do is they always say, if you were offered, would you take it? And I hate that because it's not a real thing, but you could go back to the start of the season, and if you'd have spoken to Ryan Lowe before the season started and said, at the end of August, you'd have this many points in the league, you'd have got to the second round and tested yourself in the Carabao Cup, and you'd have played in this manner and scored these away wins, I think he would have said that constitutes a good August.
Yeah, he would. I think, but knowing him, he probably would want more, because he'd want to make sure he'd won all his home games at least. Because there's games they could have won very easily. Just the bar actually is stopped them winning 2 games. We hit the bar against Cambridge, didn't we? We hit the bar on Saturday as well. So yeah, just so those minor marginal details really have stopped us getting those 6 points. But yeah, I think he'd be pleased. I think he's seen a lot of great things. I think also, I haven't mentioned Broom coming into the team. He's been a big plus. I think he gives us something different in the middle of the park where he makes those runs in behind. So I've been really impressed by him. So yeah, I think he'd be pretty pleased. But knowing him, he'll want more, and he'll not let his team away with that. He'll keep driving them and sort of forcing them to get the results that they need.
Yeah, satisfactory, if not satisfied, I guess we'll go with from Ryan Lowe's August so far. And of course, we barely even mentioned the 2 boys up front scoring 9 goals between them, and Shirley grabbing 1 as well. So lots and lots of positives. Let's have a little look to tonight's game. Of course, it's a different competition. It's the Papa John's Trophy. It's been known as many things over the history, of course, the EFL Trophy or the Johnson's Paint, Checker Trade, etc., etc. And the teams are just coming out onto the pitch, I should say. Argyle all in white and Newport wearing their I think we'll go with amber or the old gold for their kit, not yellow. I'm told to not say that. But they are coming out onto the pitch. But this competition is obviously the lesser of the 4 competitions that the clubs play, and I don't think that's any massive slam on the competition to say that, and it's reflected in the fact that the Argyle team and the Newport team to an extent is full of younger players, full of players that haven't been getting so many minutes so far this season. But you can spin anything to a positive, and I would say it is great for a lot of these players, either the fringe players to get minutes or for the young players to get experience. It is still a positive thing, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like for those academy players who starting tonight, this is what it's all about. You've worked all your career so far to get to these opportunities, and they've got to take these opportunities. And this will be a tough game. And then you're right, the fringe players who are on the sort of the cusp of the side, they're going to get some minutes in their legs, because they would have. The team's been it's going to be the same team really week in, week out, so getting extra minutes for these guys. So yeah, there's no negatives whatsoever, and I guess the message Ryan Lowe would have said is give me a problem and give me decisions. That those types of comments I've been in those positions myself, where you're a young lad coming in, you get an opportunity, and the advice is go and give me a problem, go out there and do your best. So I'm sure that will be a similar message from the manager.
Indeed. Let's have a quick look at the 2 starting lineups for tonight, starting with Argyle. There'll be some names you're very familiar with and some perhaps less so, and we'll try and keep you informed, keep you in the picture as the evening goes along about some of the more the newer names to you, and there's lots of reasons why, of course. But in goal, Callum Burton, who started the game against Peterborough, I think it was it early on in the campaign. He's in goal for tonight. The back 3 we think will be James Wilson, Ollie Tomlinson and Brandon Purcell. Wing backs we anticipate being Jordan Garrick and Ryan Law. A midfield of Finlay Crask, Angel Warrior and Adam Randall, with up front Oscar Massey and Reece Shirley. Subs for Argyle, substitute goalkeeper Zach Baker, and also Ethan Mitchell, Oscar Halls, Freddie Isaka, Will Jenkins-Davis, Carlo Garside and Oscar Rutherford. There is a potential piece of Argyle history to be made tonight, which I will tell you about very, very shortly, but it does concern one of the substitutes. More on that in a second. The players look ready to kick off. We are a couple of minutes ahead of schedule, but our referee this evening obviously wants to get it done. Quick reminder that if this game is level after 90 minutes, we will have a shootout for an extra point. This is a group game. There are 4 teams in the group. We'll play 3 games in the group stage. I'll get more on the other fixtures about that later on as the evening goes on. But yes, if it is a draw, both teams will get a point, and then a penalty competition will be done for that extra point. Players are just waiting. I think the referee has to wait until 7 o'clock to actually get us underway. So let's quickly do the Newport team for you. We're not absolutely certain about the exact positions of where everyone will line up. Just take a route before we get ourselves underway. The Newport team that I have, I'll do it in number order for you, and then we'll work out exactly who's going where as time goes on. But Nick Townsend is the goalkeeper, and then it's 7 Robbie Wilmore, 8 Matty Dolan, who is captain, 14 Aaron Lewis, 16 Timmy Abraham, 19 Dom Telford, 24 Jake Kane, 31 Ollie Cooper, 41 Joe Woodywis, 50 Harrison Bright and 56 Nyrin Livermore. Newport have kicked off and gone back to their goalkeeper, who hits it long up the field. And the person underneath it gets his first touch with a solid header forward. You'll have noticed from that team readout a very familiar couple of names, Timmy Abraham and Don Telford. Get this one, folks. When these 2 teams played last season in November in this competition, Argyle's front 2 were Don Telford and Tammy Abraham. And how football works is incredible, isn't it? Anyway, Newport have the ball at the moment, just trying to get it into one of those men, Abraham, who works it backwards through Livermore, who actually made his Newport debut in that match last season. Here he is again, Livermore trying to float one into the box, where Ryan Law comes across really nicely and heads it with plenty of distance. Flipped on by Massey. There's a chase on here for Finlay Crask. It was a good chase from Crask. Put some pressure on, and Dolan, the Newport skipper, had to go back to his goalkeeper. Moving forward, aim towards Dom Telford, who, as we know, is not going to be a target man, but he could well be a nuisance in other areas. It's incredible, that, isn't it? You can play up front for one team one season and have the same partner against them the following season for the opposition. It's how football works.
That's a stat and a half that you've got there, Rob. Yeah, it's bizarre, but football's like that, isn't it? It comes up with different conundrums. You always see when a player moves clubs, maybe their first game is against their old club and different things, so it's just a sort of freak of the fixture list, really.
Yeah, I'm going to give a little credit to Argyle Media's Charlie Price for that one. Argyle breaking down the right-hand side here. Here's Shirley trying to get the ball across, and it's blocked off by Woodywis, the defender for Newport, young defender. Blocked it with his shins, and it's an early corner for Argyle on the right-hand side. And Rhys Shirley, we've seen already some snippets of him during the season, a goal last week against Swansea, and he looked really bright there, outrunning the defender and winning the corner. He's full of confidence. Yeah, definitely. And one thing I do admire about him, he runs in behind all the time. He's a constant threat. Defenders hate running back to their own goal, and he'll definitely cause Newport problems if he does that tonight. Corner from the right. Ryan Law takes it, swept into the centre. That's a relatively easy take for Nick Townsend. I don't know if that was a terrible delivery. It looked into a reasonable area, but no one seemed to attack it there. Yeah, no, the goalkeeper's catching it like it's stomach height, so you'd think, if he's doing that, you'd expect an Argyle player to get in front of him and try and get a shot on goal. But yeah, decent delivery, to be honest. It just too easy for the goalkeeper to come and collect. Newport flicking it out to the left-hand side, but it's a bit short by Livermore. It's ended up with Garrick and then with Wilson, who hits long into a channel, rather too long for Massey to chase. It's easy enough for Dolan. Dolan is the Newport captain. He often plays in the centre of midfield, but being asked to play in central defence tonight. One of the more experienced players in the Newport team, helping to marshal some of his younger colleagues through. And I noticed that Robbie Wilmot on the ball at the moment is playing in the centre of the park. I'm more familiar with him playing out wide, but I think he's playing centrally today to try and again have that stronger spine through the centre. And here he is on the ball again, flicking it out to the left, but well read by Jordan Garrick for Argyle. Plays it into the feet of Massey, I beg your pardon, tried to turn. It was blocked off by Livermore. Garrick, of course, made an interesting cameo at the weekend, giving Home Park his first real glimpse of what he can do. But down the left-hand side, here's Timmy Abraham trying to get round the back of Wilson, gone all the way to the byline, tries to get it across. It's gone behind. Is it a corner or a goal kick? Difficult to tell. I think it's a goal kick. I think Abraham overran it. Wilson tracking back there, but Abraham was not able to keep the ball in. Yeah, Wilson did okay there. He obviously got done on the touchline there with a good skill by Abraham, but he got back in and he made it difficult, and Abraham sort of missed his cross. But decent defending after a bit of a mistake there. I'm sure Abraham will be thinking he's got a bit of a point to prove. He didn't necessarily have the happiest time at Home Park in terms of minutes on the field. Argyle go to the left-hand side and will earn a throw-in in a decent area where Law, the left wing-back, can come forward to take the throw. Krask is assisting him, so is Shirley, just trying to give Ryan Law an option. Into Krask's feet, or actually onto his thigh, nicely controlled. And then Randall to Law, who skips past his man and he comes infield. Randall again. To go backwards to Tomlinson. Tomlinson playing in the middle of the back three for Argyle, by the way. Wilson continuing where he normally plays on the right of the three. So that's a good vote of confidence for Ollie Tomlinson, being tasked with the central role of the three. He's certainly shown in his short Argyle career so far that he does have the poise and the mentality for that role. Ball forward was cut out by Newport. And Livermore already looks like he'll be on the ball a lot for Newport. Anaya and Livermore. He's worked it through Telford down the right-hand side, and the chase is on for Ollie Cooper. He versus Ollie Tomlinson, but good defending from Tomlinson. Held the man off and went back to Purton. Rather waited a long time to be shut down there. He eventually got the clearance away out to the other side. First of all, Ollie Tomlinson up with a nice bit of defending, very calm, but then the goalkeeper, he just played with his time a little bit there. Yeah, no, he did well. He was sort of making sure he was goal side and he wasn't going to get in front of him there. But yeah, decent, really good calm play, and a pass back to the keeper there, and really sort of clear the lines. But yeah, he looked assured, didn't he, against Swansea as well. He seems to be a cool character. Yeah, indeed. I think he only played a few minutes at the end of last season against Sunderland, but it was against Gillingham when he was given that the starting position in the last game of the season, and he looked looked very assured. I think he's got plenty ahead of him, Ollie Tomlinson. And these minutes in a game like this will not do him any harm whatsoever. Here he is on the ball now. We know how Argyle try and play with the back three, and I don't suppose that they'll look to change that at all, Brian, in terms of the style of play, just because the personnel is very different. I imagine the Ryan Lowe way of playing is not going to change at all.
No, I know from the academy, from the under-14s, they play that formation as well, so he seems to really think that's the formation that he wants the club playing, and the players understand that. So yeah, don't see any changes.
Nice little ball by Angel Warrior, and then on by Randall through Krask, and then out to Law down the left-hand side. This has been a nice move. Law finds the edge of the box. Oh, we just tried to play it around the corner for Krask. That was a really nice move through the midfield three. And Law around the outside looking for Krask. It was the right ball. It was ever so slightly overhit. Had he got it right, Finley Krask was in a great position.
Yeah, no, Law done really well. They came in on his right foot, not his favourite foot, and great vision to sort of pull it back into Krask. But Krask, it was probably a little bit overhitting as well, and Krask could maybe not on his toes as much, but yeah, decent move by Argyle down the left-hand side.
All fizzed out from the home goalkeeper Nick Townsend, but eventually Wilson is able to head it backwards. There's still a chase for Purcell here, and he's under a bit of pressure, Brandon Purcell. And manages to get hold of that ball and knock it intelligently down the line. It's led to an Argyle throw-in quite near the halfway line. Another one we've seen before, Brandon Purcell, a left-sided defender who played all of Argyle's trophy games last season. Became Argyle's third youngest ever player in doing so. But he might get pushed down to fourth tonight. That's the bit of history that might get that we might see. More on that in a second. Dolan at the back for Newport. It's worked into again centrally to Livermore. Very busy player in the centre of the park is Livermore, dropping off a lot and trying to start things off from the middle. Looks like the Newport equivalent to Adam Randall in many ways, that kind of busy figure, constantly wanting to be on the ball, little 1-2s and get things going. He's being joined at the moment by Jake Kane, who was just dropped in to help him out. Wilmot has come back to the right-hand side where I'm more familiar with him, so it might have just been temporary that he went into the centre. Now it looks like Kane is in the middle with Livermore. Now down the left-hand side and getting some attention as he moves down the flank is Aaron Lewis. And he goes to ground and nothing is given, so it's a throw to Argyle to be taken by Garrick. Gets it back from Tomlinson. Holds off a couple of players, and it's won back by Newport, and specifically by Ollie Cooper, who goes down the left-hand side, tries to play it infield, but it's good defending by Randall. Under some pressure from Abraham. Manages to just about come away with the ball. Abraham thinks he was fouled. Randall was just a bit too strong. Goes long towards Shirley, who brings it down, and that's picked up by Dolan. We've played just under 10 minutes here, 9.5 minutes or so, still 0-0. Neither side really getting a foothold in the game as Newport aim towards Telford, but that's easily dealt with by Purcell. And then comes Law again on the left-hand side. Krask. Law once more on the halfway line. Has to go backwards. That's okay. Argyle probably settling a little bit better, would you say, in possession? Is that fair? Yeah, the last couple of minutes they're starting to keep the ball a bit better. I think that's important they do that because they've just got to build themselves into the game. Good to see they're a little bit deeper as well, just getting a bit of a foothold in the game first, but great move at the minute. Here's a run from Krask from the midfield, found by Law, goes down Finley Krask. I don't think that was a foul. Started with a nice ball into Massey, who laid it out to the left-hand side. Newport have cleared, but Argyle have won it back. Good header by Purcell, and now Randall. Blocked off by two Newport players, so he goes back to Tomlinson, right in the centre circle. Maria takes it in nicely and moves it to his right. Gets it back as well. Anxious to get the hold of the ball. Angel Warrior tries to play it around the corner to Massey. Takes a touch and then shoots. So it's over the top and it's into the, I was going to say temporary stand. It's a temporary stand that's been there forever at Rodney Parade, where the Argyle fans would be on a normal night. The fans all constricted into the ground on one side tonight. But nicely done by Massey to take it in. Let's face it, not the greatest shot in the world, and it was plenty over the top, but good to get an early touch and to have the confidence to get the shot away. Yeah, no, it was a good move actually. Warrior, really good sort of 1-2 in the middle of the park. He went into that space and was attacking the Newport sort of back four there, and it was a clever little sort of reverse ball. And unfortunately, Massey just didn't get a good strike at all. Well high and over the bar, but that'll give Argyle a bit of confidence. Foul by Livermore on Crass. Crass just nicked the ball away from Livermore. I'm not sure he really knew he was there, Livermore, and flew in. And so it's a free kick to Argyle, probably 40-45 yards out, slightly right of centre. Randall quickly is over the ball. I should have mentioned, actually, if I haven't already, that Adam Randall is captaining in Argyle tonight. Good moment for him, particularly when you've got someone with the experience of James Wilson in the team. Ryan Lowe has seen fit to give the captain's armband to Randall, which I'm sure is a real indicator of just how he feels about Adam's progression. He's over the ball with Ryan Law. Plenty of Argyle players forward. Law looks favoured to take this left-footed, little bit of an in-swinger, clips it in, that is too close to the goalkeeper. And again, it's an easy take for Townsend. Sweeps it down the right-hand side, quick break on here from Newport. Robbie Wilmot on the ball, holds it up, waits for Harrison Bright to join him. Bright tries to cross it into the near post, blocked by Purcell. Bit of a race for the loose ball, which is won by Cooper. Sets it back to Wilmot, takes a touch, sends it in right-footed towards Abraham. Tomlinson got the first touch and cleared, but it's away as far as Lewis. Shoots from the left-hand side, came in on his right foot. Naturally a right back is Aaron Lewis, but he got there first. Now it's Argyle trying to break away. Good piece of defending as we're going backwards and forwards here. Wilmot picks up a loose ball. He goes back to Bright, wearing number 50 for Newport. Out to Wilmot. Infield to Livermore, tried to turn away from Shirley. He's just about kept it Livermore, but Shirley pushed him all the way. Literally and figuratively, because the referee says that there was too much physical contact. And it's a free kick to Newport just outside the centre circle, which they tried to take quickly, but the ref says it's a rolling ball. 13 minutes into the game, no one really getting too settled into this game. Right?
No, it's sort of. There's times that Argyle have passed the ball really well. When they've done that, they've got into really decent positions, but no final ball or any cutting edge at the moment. But Newport have probably got more possession and coming in a dangerous area here.
Yeah, Cooper tries to flip the ball to the far post. I think he was expecting a run from someone, but has in the end gone too far beyond everybody and out for an Argyle throw in the right back area. Cooper is one of a couple of players that Newport have brought in today, as we mentioned, deadline day, and in fact Ollie Cooper and Jake Kane are both in on loan today. Cooper from Swansea, Kane from Liverpool. So being thrust into the action on their first day in the job. I'm sure they don't mind that. Immediate chance to impress manager Mike Flynn, who himself is back after a bit of an absence. He's been struck down by COVID and has had to isolate, but he's back on the touchline tonight, I believe. Newport with the ball forward, which is easily picked up by Burton.
Yeah, so far Newport aren't causing us any problems at all. The guys at the back are doing a fine job. As I said, they're playing quite deep, staying in a 5 at the moment. They build themselves into the game, and I'm sure as the game goes on, we'll see the wing backs get further up the pitch. Especially you're looking for Garrick to get further up the pitch, aren't you? Because he's definitely more an attacking player than an offensive player. Yeah,
naturally a winger, and we saw what he can do on Saturday in his cameo at the end of the game, coming in field, smashing one off the crossbar. I was off my seat. I thought it was in. I thought it was the winner, and it was cruelly denied by the woodwork. But Argyle have a free kick at the moment, which they've taken short. Finley Crass did really well to win that free kick. Well, actually, I think he would have rather the referee allowed it to go on, because not only was he fouled, his strength allowed him to come away with the ball, but the referee gave a free kick. Argyle have taken it short and moved it all the way along their back line, and now once again with the goalkeeper since taking it.
Yeah, really good confidence to play through the lines again, Argyle. Good to see the young players not hiding and wanting the ball. It's good to see.
Craft again wins the ball with his power and then heads it down to Law, into Randell, turns away from his man really well. His ball towards Wilson was a bit heavy, but Wilson reacted really well to head it. Garrett rides a tackle, comes in field. That was a handball, and it's been given by the referee for Lewis. Well, combination of maybe a foul and a handball, but either way, free kick to Argyle, which Wilson tries to take quickly.
Yeah, it was a hefty tackle that on Garrick, and done well to get up, and yeah, it was definitely a handball.
I think he could have given it for either of those things, couldn't he? Wilson tried to take a quick free kick there that was, again, stopped by the referee, which wasn't the worst thing from an Argyle perspective because it hadn't come off. So we go back to where it was. Wilson again, he's looking up. He doesn't want to have to play it long, doesn't have to sling it in the box, so he's gone eventually into the feet of Massey, who takes it in, and with 3 Newport players around him, and in the end the home side are able to use sheer weight of numbers to take it off of him and bring the ball away with Joe Woodiness on the right of the 2 centre-backs. back to Townsend again in the Newport goal. Did mention it's been an interesting start to the season for Newport for many, many reasons. They've had to play their first 4 league games all away from home. They laid a new pitch, which we've already remarked looks fantastic by Newport standards anyway, but it looks great by any standards, to be fair. But they've had to play their first 4 games away from home. They won 1-0 at Oldham, lost at Mansfield, won at Tranmere and lost at Salford. So it's been a mixed bag on the road so far in their 4 league games. They won 1-0 at Ipswich in the first round of the Carabao Cup, but they did take an 8-0 pasting last week against Southampton in the second round of that competition. So that's a very, very mixed bag. And indeed the 3-0 loss at Salford at the weekend. I read the report from the South Wales Argus, I think it was, on that one, and they basically said 3-0 was kind and that Newport could have lost by a lot more. So they wouldn't necessarily be coming into this side with a lot of confidence, but then again, I think there's only one player remaining from that Salford game playing tonight. So those things don't always work in a game like this when there's a lot of changes.
No, they don't, but then you could say that these players on the pitch are probably playing for spaces because they could be available because the first team maybe are not up to scratch at the moment. So
that's true.
Yeah, so there's a bit of motivation for them to go and make an impact.
Yeah, particularly the players that have come in, such as Cooper and Kane, and it's Cooper who tries to play Abraham in round the back there. Good defending again by Argyle, but the header forward has found its way to Abraham. He goes back to Kane, and then Lewis coming in from left back, doesn't get through. Tomlinson, who clears, picked up by Massey. I just need to stick a little bit at the moment. They found the ball with Krask, out to Law on the left flank, back into the centre to Adam Randall. I'm sure he'll want him to be the pivot, get the ball to. He's worked it out to Garrick, and then the ball up the line deflects out for a throw-in. We've played 18 minutes. If you are just joining us on Argyle TV, you're very welcome. It's Newport County 0, Plymouth Argyle 0 in this first game of the Papa John's Trophy for this season. It's a 4-team group, which the other 2 teams being Arsenal under-21s and Swindon. Those 2 meet next week. Next Tuesday is their first game, so whoever wins this game tonight will be temporarily top of the tree in that group. I'll get to the edge of the box and it's cleared away. Newport looking for the break. Down under pressure goes Cooper, but he gets back to his feet and gets hold of the ball. It's fouled by Randall, but the referee allows it to go on because Telford has it for Newport. Decent ball out to the left. There's a threat here. Abraham crosses in, big block by Tomlinson. It's gone up in the air there around the penalty spot. Randall tries to win a header. It falls to Cooper. He tees up Wilmot from distance. And it's fine. It's a bit high and it's a bit wide, and it's nothing that Callum Burton has to worry about. But that's probably Newport's best move of the match, I would say.
Yeah, they did okay down the left-hand side, and decent crossing in the end by Abraham, and it just fell in the edge of the box, and the shot was well wide, to be honest. But Argyle defended it quite well. Tomlinson in particular decent in the air there, won a good challenge. So yeah, we're keeping them at distance, and they're shooting from that distance. Then it's only going to be a worldie if it goes in from there, really. So yeah, decent defensive play by Argyle.
Burton on the ball for the Pilgrims. Rolls it out to the right-hand side to James Wilson. He might feel at home in some ways tonight. Didn't represent Newport, but was born there before coming through the ranks the other side of the 7 for Bristol City. He might have some defending to do now as Abraham, who is drifting over onto that left-hand side quite a lot, now looks to come infield with past Wilson, and he did beat him. Garrick got back to hold Abraham up and then won a free kick. Good defending by Jordan Garrick. We know that it's not necessarily a defensive role that Jordan Garrick is going to be familiar with, but he seemed to do a good job there when tasked with looking after Timmy Abraham. Going to get that wrong tonight.
The ball just sort of got away from Abraham, and he was able to get in there and point it, and Abraham had a foul him to stop him getting away. But yeah, he's going to have a job to do there, because if he's going to get in the team, he's going to have to sort of play that sort of wing-back role where he's going to be asked to do defensive responsibilities as well as do things in an attacking sense as well.
Shirley battling down the left-hand side to try and get hold of the ball. The referee says it's too much and gives a free kick against Joe Woodywist. For Joe Woodywist. I think it would have gone out of play for a goal kick anyway. But it's now going to be a free kick in a sort of right-hand side area.
We are struggling a little bit up top at the moment. You know, we haven't had any decent quality into their feet, the 2 front men, but you know, lack of strength in there. We're not able to get up the pitch as much as maybe we'd want to. But yeah, again, that's around the quality up to them has not been there yet.
Randall goes to go backwards to Burton. Argyle having plenty of possession in these sorts of areas towards the back three and through midfield, but there's perhaps a bit of a disconnect between the midfield and the front men at the moment as Tomlinson goes long looking for Law in the channel. Woodywis took it down, played it through Wilmot, and Newport just continue to be having a better spell here. Wilmot round the corner on the right hand side, good ball to right back Harrison Bright, who tries to play it early towards Abraham coming in. He's missed it, but Telford read it really nicely to get round the left hand side. Sets it back to Kane, and a foot in by Wilson goes towards Burton, who was not able to prevent the corner. The ball in from the right looked quite hopeful from Harrison Bright, but speaking of Bright, it was Telford who reacted the brightest and managed to keep that alive. That was good anticipation from the former Argyle man.
Yeah, he did well there, but Wilson was able to get back in and stop him there. But yeah, definitely Newport are on top at the moment, and they're on the attack here.
They are, with Lewis left hand side, cross comes in, deflected. It was a short corner that they'd taken, and it went back again to Lewis, the taker, and he earns a second one by firing a deflected cross into the side netting. Takes another short one. Runs around the outside to get it back again, but it's actually been worked to Livermore. Newport trying to work their way in from the corner rather than just cross it. But Argyle are up to that challenge, blocked by Krask. And out for a throw. Newport take it quickly while they've got the man over and send a high cross to the far post. Kept alive by Woodywis. Comes across the 6-yard area. Abraham, he just can't quite finish it off. It came loose. There was a couple of Newport players trying to get it on the edge of the 6-yard area. Really well done by Woodywis to keep it alive. Burton got a hand to it, but it actually put the ball into the path of Abraham, and I think it was Massey that got across to get a block in. Indeed it was. Good defending by him, but Argyle having to keep it out. We'll come to Brian for a bit of analysis on that in a minute, but Newport take the third corner, and once again it's short. It's worked across to Livermore. High cross in, this time Burton deals with it easily. 3 corners in from Newport. Argyle dealing with the first and the third. The second caused an issue. I am not going to come to you just yet because Argyle are bursting forward from Law. Tries to get it through to Shirley. Might fall to Warrior. He's got Garrick outside of him. Can he get a cross in? Gets towards the byline. Gets beyond his man. Does get the cross in. It's beyond everybody. Will Law be able to keep this alive? He won't. It's going to be a Newport throw. Finally, Brian, I can come to you. It was a chance for Abraham there.
Yeah, it was. But obviously, it was good defending by Massey in the end, wasn't it? Come back and just shows you where Argyle, being defensive, everyone's got to play their part in that sense. But yeah, he got a block in, but it was a good chance for him. But then Argyle on the attack down the left. The final ball again from Law wasn't enough to try to create anything. But yeah, it's a bit bitty for Argyle at the moment. We're just struggling to get up the pitch at the moment.
Here's Shirley, got the ball from Randall and managed to move it out towards Garrick. It just wouldn't arrive at Jordan Garrick there, and in the end he's given away a free kick on his opposite number, literally 14 on 14 as Aaron Lewis is fouled. Another break down the left hand side. There's lots of space here for Cooper. Comes across from the left hand side, tries to cut in field. It's blocked off by Wilson, but he picks out Abraham inside the D, reaches the area, tries to get outside and shoot. It's on target, scrambled away by Burton, and he's had to punch it from under the bar. It was slightly unconvincing from the Argyle goalkeeper, but he managed to keep it out once by pushing it up in the air and then rather scrambling across to push it away. It was a bit of a shovel, the first one, and then actually it was good defending. I'm trying to see who it was that got back there. I think it might have been Krask that just did enough to put off the Newport player as he was trying to knock it in, but Newport, as we reach the 25-minute mark, really starting to look like a threat now, and that was good work from Abraham. Yeah, they're banging on the door a little bit at the moment. Abraham did really well there. He got round long, got shot off, and Burton done. His first save was a bit unorthodox, but then the second one he was able to get it free, so decent save in the end. Corner from the right, flicked on. It's bouncing around the 6-yard area. Argyle should clear with Krask, and they do. It reaches the halfway line. Wilmot for Newport as players fan back into position, and Ryan Law prevents the push down the right hand side. Another corner dealt with. This time they did sling a ball into the middle. Newport, they're trying to mix it up from their set pieces, though thus far Argyle have managed to resist in one fashion or another whatever's been coming to them. Ryan Law gets to a ball there quickly ahead of Harrison Bright and goes down. The referee will just have a little word with Harrison Bright about that one. Law was the quickest of the pair. I think that probably looked worse, Brian, because it was at such pace. Yeah. It's not going to be a booking, but he's just going to tell the player to calm down. But Law did really well to get there first. Yeah, he did. It's one of those challenges where you know you're going to get kicked before you get there. You see the man coming, you know, and you know it's going to happen. But thankfully, Law is in a position now where he's walking fine and he's got up freely, no concerns there whatsoever. But
he looks lively, Law. The minute the ball breaks, he's on the front foot, he's on his toes, which is really good play from the wing back.
Personal free kick into the channel looking for Massey. Didn't quite reach him, and Newport clear. Well taken in by Telford. And Wilmot again turning up centrally to Lewis. Picks out Livermore, and he tries to engineer one over the top of Law. He's managed to do it as well. Law stands up well to Bright. Those two battling again, but Bright's managed to get round him. Good backtracking by Law. It's a great battle between these two, and now Bright manages to get a toe on it. Back out to Wilmot. His cross. It's a decent one. It's over a couple of bodies. They made the same sort of run there, the Newport forwards, and in the end it's gone out the other side for a throw in. But Abraham and Telford, they might have played up front with two clubs, but they looked as if they got each other's way there.
Yeah, they both made the same runs, didn't they? And there was no one at the back stick at all, so thankfully for Argyle. But yeah, it was a good battle down the right hand side. Law's got his hands full there, but he stuck at the task and didn't let them get the cross in from the byline. So yeah, decent defensive play as well.
Wilmot sends it out to Bright. Newport are having a good spell here. They'll want to try and make it count. Purcell has had to track back and stop the ball coming for Telford. And between he and Law, they move it down the left-hand side. But County win it back again. And the rather ubiquitous Livermore spreads it out to Dolan. He won't mind stepping into midfield. The fact that he wears number 8 gives an indication of where that's where he would normally be playing. Marshalling the defence today. Comes to Abraham, but he can't do anything up against James Wilson. And Argyle have another throw-in on the right-hand side. Garrick to take it. Not a lot of movement in front of him at the moment. I think he's waiting for someone to take some responsibility down the line. Goes over Massey and into Shirley, who takes it in. And Massey should be able to come away with it down the right. That's a really good burst. Gets past the first one. Oh, the touch was just a bit heavy. And it was taken away from him. That was a great burst, first of all, by Oscar Massey. But the second time there was just a bit of a heavy touch. Newport can clear. They look for Abraham. And again, Wilson very well placed and nods it back. That was a bit more dynamism that we need to see from Argyle's more attacking players there by Massey. It was a good initial break, but it just didn't quite come off. Yeah,
no, he did really well to evade a couple of Newport players when he just touches a bit heavy. I think if we can get the ball into their feet and in this decent sort of space, they can worry Newport, but just at the moment they're not getting any sort of quality service up to their feet to allow them to turn. And at the moment Newport's dictating the play, which was not allowing Argyle to get up the pitch. So bit of a tough game at the moment for Argyle.
Wilmot comes in field for Newport, plays it into Kane, teed up by him to Livermore, but that's really well done by Angel Warrior, who took it away as Livermore was about to shoot. Oh, and it was played in towards Massey and Warrior as they went down the right-hand side. It didn't quite come off, but Argyle have it back. Adam Randall is just in field at the moment, just trying to find some space, and Newport are blocking the ball to him at every opportunity. Argyle have to go long towards Shirley, but that's overhit and easily taken in by Townsend. Would you concur that I think if Argyle can get the ball to Randall a bit more, he's going to be their starter, isn't he, to get the ball going?
Yeah, he's going to replace Houghton, isn't he? That's the type of position that he plays in. To be honest, he needs to get the ball quicker there. Garrick was looking at him. He's just got to try and feed that ball in quickly. And if they can sort of get through the lines there, it allows people like Randall then to spread the play and bring other people into the game. So it's just they got to move the ball a bit quicker.
Ball over the top looking for Abraham. He just about got there first. I thought he might have been offside. There was no flag. That's why I paused when he got the ball, because I thought I was waiting for the flag to go up. In the end, Tomlinson came across and cleared it away. Had Abraham been a little sharper there, I think he knows it. I just caught a sight of him looking up into the air. I think he realises that might have been a chance as he brought the ball down, but just maybe dithered a slight bit. We'll come back to that in a second, because Newport are taking the throw in on the left-hand side. Lewis gets it back, plays it into Cooper. Wilmot, left-hand side, plays it out to Lewis again. Argyle pushing Newport back and back and back as Dolan tries to clip one round the corner for Lewis. It was a good run, it was a good idea. It was slightly overhit and goes through to Burton, who bowls it out to Krask and then to Law on the left-hand side for Argyle. Into the channel looking for Massey. It's another hopeful ball. Can Krask pick up the seconds? He can. And again, really strong by Krask. Shirley just about gets his way past his man, and Law continues to run. Lovely skill by Ryan Law. Gets into the box. Oh, and he tried to go near post. It was saved by the goalkeeper, Townsend. But Argyle with their best chance so far on 31 minutes. It was got a bit of a break between Reece Shirley and Ryan Law, but once Law got it, he beat a couple and then fired the shot near post. He did brilliantly to get there, Brian, but perhaps he should have gone across the goalkeeper.
It was probably identical to the move he did at Swansea, wasn't it? He was right in that sort of brilliant position, and this time he elected to pull the trigger. As you say, they went cross goal. It's a goal, you know, it's in the net. But yeah, brilliant run by him. A really sort of resilient run, strong run, and great skill as well.
Argyle corner on the left-hand side, floated to the far post, back in by Wilson. Chance came in there. Oh, and it was an Argyle player. I think it was Purcell that got his right foot to it. It was Brandon Purcell. It's led to another corner. Nice routine from the corner out to the far post from Randall's take. Header back across from Wilson was really assertive. And in the end, good defending, shutting down the chance. But Argyle working that set piece nicely, Brian.
Yeah, good header back into play by Wilson. He pulled off the back stick and he was free, and we just couldn't get the shot off on target, really. But yeah, decent play, decent set piece.
Corner from the right-hand side this time. Randall again to take. Referee is just going to have a little chat, having seen a bit of a shoving match between this is a sentence you don't say very often, between the two number 41s. And it's Ollie Tomlinson and Joe Woodywist that are having that little not quite a set two, that would be pushing it. Anyway, the referee is now going to allow the corner to be taken. Randall, it's a little routine to try and play the ball into Shirley. They've all missed it. It's going to come to Ryan Law, and he smashes it from the edge of the box, just maybe sliced it a little bit. It goes over the top. And Argyle tried to work the corner along the ground. It was taken by Randall. It was towards Shirley. Newport read it, but no one managed to get a foot on the ball, and it bizarrely went through a series of legs. And I don't think Ryan Law was expecting to come to him. He had the shot from the edge of the area. Wasn't terribly far away, but a very bizarre route to getting to the shot in the first place.
Yeah, it obviously wasn't meant for Law. Just sort of ended up getting right across to his sort of position, and he didn't expect it, and he was on the stretch, wasn't he, and he just couldn't get over the ball to keep it lower and keep it on target. But he's had chances, isn't he? He's had two cracking chances.
Yeah, he looks very lively. Now Argyle, perhaps maybe they can keep this attacking momentum and impetus going. Good ball by Randall between two Newport players to bring Purcell into the game from the left-hand side of defence. I think he thought about shooting there from distance. In the end, worked it through Krask and then Law. Great first touch from Ryan Law. Comes in field. In the end, just too many bodies. The way he took that in and managed to get past his player with one touch. But now it's Newport who break. Randall shoulder to shoulder with Livermore, who goes down. And I think there might be a booking here. I think Randall knew what he was doing to try and stop the attack. And he is booked. I was just about to say Argyle keeping that momentum going. They did have a chance, but Newport burst away suddenly. This is opening up a bit, this game.
Yeah, it is. It was good first touch by Law, wasn't it, on the left-hand side. And he beat the player with his first touch, and I thought it was a free kick, to be honest, and he was complaining, the referee, he didn't get it, but Newport on the break, and Randall's got to give the professional foul there. They were right against Argyle, and he's brought the man down, and it's one of them ones you have to take for the team, unfortunately.
I think I called that as Livermore. It might have been Cooper, actually, on second thoughts, but certainly a foul by Randall, although Argyle, as Brian says, might feel a bit aggrieved that they didn't get a free kick of their own from Ryan Law, who has been everywhere, well, not everywhere, because he's all been down the left-hand side, but he's been involved all the time over the last 5 minutes as an attacking threat, even though he's a left wing back, but he does have that in his arsenal. Newport have worked a free kick short. Both teams are reluctant to go too direct. They want to get the ball down and play it, even from a dead ball. Dolan comes out from the back, plays it in the left channel to Cooper. Little Cruyff turn, then returns the ball to Dolan, who'd carried on, but the attempted wall pass was blocked off. Krask has to do an inventive back heel just to try and get the ball away. Newport have the shot from distance that dribbles wide, untidy on the edge of the box there, and it ended in a not the shot that was no tidier, but we just saw the free kick go short there from Newport and the way they've tried to work it. We've seen that from corners as well. It looks like there's a similar sort of ethos from both of these teams about trying to play the right way, but it's almost cancelling each other out.
Yeah, no, to be fair, there's been no real final ball, no chances, but they're trying to do the right things, try and play from the back through the lines and not lump it up forward. Really, I don't think they've got the players to lump it up either team, because they're all, maybe Abraham's got a bit more of a stature, but yeah, they've got to play the feet and try and build the attacks in the right way.
Ball forward towards Shirley there, went infield. It looked like a handball to me, but Harrison Bright's managed to come away with it. Play it towards Cooper, gets into the area. Good defending by Tomlinson, gets it away towards Lewis. It's eventually picked up by Livermore, and now Bright, who had made that initial incursion, has it 30 yards out, shoots from distance, and that one is, well, that's a shot that would be more akin to what we might see at the Rodney Parade when the rugby's in. They might get a drop goal or something for that one, but how much is that? 3 points, but no goals here for tonight for that one from Harrison Bright. Not really a threat from that distance, but he did really well in the first place to burst forward and get the ball into Ollie Cooper. It was another Ollie Tomlinson that blocked it, but he looks lively. Cooper, it's his first day in Newport colours, but he looks like a threat from midfield. Yeah,
he does look. He's on loan from Swansea, isn't he? I think he is. Yeah, he just signed a contract there, and he obviously is coming here to get first team football. And the same for Kane from Liverpool. They're going to obviously want to have a big impression and get their sort of football careers up and running.
It's another throw in for Newport on the left hand side. Lewis throws back to his goalkeeper. And he clips it to the right hand side to Bright. Good distribution from Townsend there. Bright couldn't actually get the momentum down the right flank to start an attack, but Newport have retained the ball. Woody Wiss gets it back from Wilmots and then hits the channel looking for the run of Abraham. Nicely taken down by Purcell. That was really calmly done by the Argyle defender. Newport get it back though after the clearance. We'll try and work it to Cooper. He's got away from Randall there as Cooper. That was really nicely done. Oh, he threaded it through towards Telford, who quite frankly was on his heels. I feel a bit for Ollie Cooper there because he did a lot of hard work, and I don't think there was necessarily the wrong ball, but Dom Telford, who is a bright player, we've seen a lot of him in Argyle colours, but he was sleeping there. I'll come back to it because Argyle have given the ball away. Chance for Livermore. He tried to play it to Telford. This time the credit goes to Tomlinson, who had given the ball away rather too easily, but he made up for that mistake by reading that pass from Livermore through, who I think he thought he was being clever, but Tomlinson had managed to twig what was happening. Argyle will have a throw in on the left hand side. Law to take just before they do. That was a couple of near chances for Newport. Neither of them came off for a variety of reasons, but again they're knocking on the door.
There definitely are. It's they've just lacked that bit of quality. Telford wasn't on his toes there to read the pass, but yeah, it was decent play by Newport. They're just thankfully not really creating anything clear cut. Their final ball's letting them down at the moment.
Is it just a coincidence that it's just this type of game, or is it because a lot of these players won't have all played together before because it's a bit of a mix and match from squad players and youth players and whatever, but there seems to be some moments where players aren't quite on the same wavelength to me.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. There's no, obviously they haven't maybe trained together, or the formation's not the same, and there's a bit of a mixed match of a team really, but that's what it's all around. They've just got to adapt, and they're all good enough players to do that, so I'm sure as the game goes on there'll be more sort of continuity towards their play.
Clearance from Townsend. Law and Shirley nearly linked up on the left hand side, didn't quite come off. Argyle have it again with Wilson. Garrick is quite a long way forward, but he picks the ball up now in a good area. Now he can run at one player, gets to the edge of the box, comes in field, didn't quite get himself a chance to shoot. Krask wins it back, and now Law, 25 yards out, inside left position, tries to play it into Krask. It was blocked off by Cooper. Decent defending from Newport, and now they will look to try and break. Livermore looks around and says there's not much on, but goodness me, he's found a good ball down the left to Telford. Enters the area from the left hand side on his left foot, whips in the shot, saves at the near post by Callum Burton. And again, that Newport chance comes from an Argyle attack that broke down. Smile on his face from Dom Telford, who got into the area and had the shot. Ollie Tomlinson kept him on his left foot, but he still had a crack anyway. Burton, I suppose, would be expected to save at the near post.
Yeah, no, Wilson was way out of shape because obviously we were on the attack and there was loads of space down there, but Thompson done the right thing. He didn't go and commit. He just made him maybe shoot from distance and was closing the angle really, so you'd expect the keeper to save that. So it was good defensive play, to be honest.
Corner from the left hand side, whipped in right into the 6-yard box, easily taken by Burton, and he bowls it out overarm to Garrick, who is turned up on the left flank and crosses the halfway line. Argyle trying to break with numbers. Garrick comes in field, gets past Livermore. Will he shoot from distance? Cuts again onto his right foot, but keeps the ball going. Warrior takes it in front of him, hits the shot from far out. Oh, that wasn't very far away at all. I thought his first touch was a little bit far away from him and had given him an awkward position, but when he got the shot away, Angel Warrior, that was not a bad effort. Most of the shots that we've seen in this game have been from distance, but that was as good as any of them. Yeah, no, got a shout to Burton there. Really quick throw to find Garrick, and that was good by Garrick. He was really direct, really brave inside on his right foot, and fine Warrior, and a decent shot in the end. He was
probably from that distance is going to take an absolute fantastic strike to sort of beat the goalkeeper from there, but decent play from Argyle.
Purcell looking down the left channel, long ball, one in the air by Woodywist, and then Wilmot gets it back on the halfway line. He and Livermore with a couple of 1-2s before Wilmot looks forward, runs and then plays it outside of him to Bright. He'll cross from on the right hand side towards the far post. Burton just watched it go past him, and Garrick will try and watch this out. It's actually going to go out for a throw in. I think he thought it was going to go over the line and out for a goal kick. In the end, he's got to take it from a throw in from the right back position. But while that is hopefully not causing any problems, I did mention that there might be a bit of Argyle history made tonight. But what I mean by that is we may well see the youngest ever Pilgrim, and not only might we see it, we might see it by some distance. At this moment in time, the youngest ever player to play for Argyle is Lee Phillips, who was 16 years and 43 days when he made his Argyle debut. If, and I do mean if, because it's by no means a certainty that we see him, but if Freddie Isaka comes off the bench tonight, he will not only become the youngest Pilgrim, but he'll do so by over a year. Freddie is 15 years and 35 days old. No Argyle player has ever played below the age of 16, and he only turned 15 35 days ago, so we may well see that. Argyle with a chance here, sorry for Newport. I thought it was a safe enough position as Shirley had tracked back on Bright, but he got round the back, did Bright, and managed to get the cross in. Apologies for nearly missing that, but I thought Argyle were in a safe position, but Shirley in an unfamiliar position defending on the left hand side. It's led to a Newport throw on the right, which Bright gets back from having taken. Wilmot tries to work it infield, cleared away by Krask, who was alive to the danger, and it goes away into a safe position. First of all, let's have a little look at that chance, or a little discussion of that chance. It was Shirley turning up in a relatively unfamiliar position there and just seeing the ball out and getting caught, really.
Yeah, I've just noticed that Ryan Law's playing a bit more in field. He's not really playing that wing back role, and Shirley's down that left hand side a bit more, so maybe they're just trying to maybe play it a bit more tight in the midfield, because you wouldn't expect Shirley to be in that position normally. So yeah, I think it's maybe a tactical thing that the manager's trying to do to try and get on the ball a bit more. But yeah, he got caught out there. That's not his natural game, playing as a wing back, and Shirley was obviously was waiting on the ball to go out of play, and the Newport player got in front of him. But yeah, interesting to see how this sort of transpires with Law playing more infield from the wing back role.
Telford has the ball and plays it around the corner with a chance there for the run from midfield from Jake Kane, but it was just a bit ahead of him and it was cleared away by Burton. I'll ask your opinion on the young player at when we reach half time, Brian, but we're only a minute away from that point, so let's see that game through until the half time whistle, and then we'll have a quick discussion on that point. But down the right hand side come Newport. Good defending by Randall, got back to stop that, and then plays a really nice ball down the left. Off goes Shirley, great athleticism, but it was a good piece of defending by Woodywist to get across. If Shirley has moved out to the left hand side, that's presumably why, to get on the end of things like that.
Yeah, really good ball by Randall, great vision. Unfortunately, Shirley just couldn't get the defender done well and got it for throw in. But yeah, he definitely will give you that running in behind and that sort of bit more of a presence over the tops, which Argyle need to do. They need to get further up the pitch.
Randall with a nice turn, but then had his head up looking for a ball, but rather held on to it too long, and Newport can come away with it. Chance for Telford, 25 yards out, shoots from distance, and that's another one that goes sailing over the top and is no real threat.
You can just see Randall's there. He's going mad at his back three where they're so deep. They just need to get further up the pitch, because that ball was just massive gaps between the midfield and the back three at the moment, which is not ideal.
We've reached the 45-minute mark. So at the end of the period of added time, we will have our half-time break. Stay with us, folks. We've got a few things to show you at half-time. Before that, we want to see this game out to its first half conclusion. Ball played forward from Burton, looking towards Massey, doesn't quite reach him, cleared away, comes into Abraham, who holds one man off and then beats a second before playing it into Telford's feet. Good interchange this time. Telford reaches the edge of the box, fires the shot, it's on target, it's a good save from Burton, has to push it away to his right. That's the best interchange we've seen between Abraham and Telford. It comes right at the end, about 45 seconds into 1 minute added on. Telford again on his left foot, again possibly a bit close to the goalkeeper with his shot, but it was a good interchange, and Burton had to work right at the end of the half, Brian.
Yeah, I must admit, Abraham's looked lively. You know, he obviously didn't have the best of spells with us at Argyle, but he's looked lively tonight, and they're on the attack here.
Lewis from the left-hand side does a 1-2 and then tries to curl the ball into the top corner, and again it's plenty off target, and that might be a fitting way to end the first period. The half-time whistle goes just after a shot from distance, and it feels like the pattern of the first half has often been one team or another working their way towards the edge of the area and shooting from distance. There's been a variation on that. Probably the best chance that Newport have had, or one of their better chances, that late shot there from Telford, which was blocked. We've seen Abraham and others try their luck. Argyle's best chance probably coming to Ryan Law, who skipped in from the left-hand side, beat a couple of players, tried to catch the goalkeeper out of the near post, but it was pushed away. It's 0-0 at half-time, Brian. Newport will probably feel that they've been on top and have asserted themselves in the game a bit more, had a bit more control over it, but it's not like they've necessarily had chance after chance after chance. Argyle are very much in this at 0-0, but Newport probably slightly ahead on points.
Yeah, they've sort of dominated the play. They're definitely more. They're higher up the pitch, and Argyle are a bit playing defensively at the moment. And yeah, you're right. They've not got in behind Argyle. They're shooting from distance. They've had a few sort of set plays as well, but they've had no. And I think, as you say, Ryan Law's probably had the best chance of the game, where he done unbelievable skill on the left hand side. So for me, the manager's just going to tell his team just to get further up the pitch. I think they're a bit deep. And try and get on the ball a little bit more and dictate the play, because at the moment Newport are dictating the play, and they are sort of are the driving force at the moment. So you just don't want this game to pass the young lads by. They want to maybe have a bit more of a foothold in the game in the second half.
If Ryan Lowe goes to his bench in the second half, he's got various different options. One of them is the aforementioned Freddie Isaka. 15 years and 35 days. What were you doing at 15 years and 35 days? Were you ready to make your first team debut?
Not a chance, no. I was ready to think of study for my GCSEs, to be honest. I wasn't even thinking about doing stuff like that, but it's a fantastic achievement if that happens. And obviously to be on the bench at that age is again testament to him, but also testament to the manager as well. He's definitely one for the youth, and I did hear the chairman speak at the weekend around one of the big things that they want is the infrastructure in the club, the academy set up. They want to really get that up and running, and I think for me, any manager of Argyle, that is the big part of the job description, really looking at the youth and bringing that through, because that's what the club, the fans want to see. They want to see young blood coming through. It just makes a big difference, the whole sort of mentality of the club.
Well, there's obviously that set up with Neil Jusnick being a big part of that as well, and how they want to. The word we use these days is pathway, which I always think feels a bit of a soulless clinical word, but it actually means a lot. It's a genuine thing about having this progression from one team to another, and Argyle don't have that development side or under 23 side, although we do have folks coming up on Friday. More about that later on. A game against Exeter for that equivalent development trophy, but there isn't a specific team in place, so it is important that there is a way of those players getting into the first team, and the fact that the first team have had a few injuries of late means that some of these younger players have had their chance at least on the bench. So it's all a learning curve. Even if you travel all over the country and don't get a minute of football, you're still learning, aren't you?
Oh, 100%. I know from my own days when you're not maybe in the first team, but you're traveling, you're on the bench, you're hearing, you're listening to what the manager's saying, you're hearing team talks, you're understanding the game, and it's a good education. And also, if you see a young player coming through, it gives a bit of confidence to the other players and go, look, I want a bit of this as well. So it just creates a real good mentality, and it's just a good feeling around the club if young players are coming through.
It does indeed. Well, it's half time here at Rodney Parade. The score 0-0, and we'll be back with you very shortly for the second half. But elsewhere at the football club, Argyle women got their first win of the new season on Sunday, a 5-1 win over Keynsham Town, thanks to goals from Natasha Natman, Zoe Cunningham and Emily Eaton, before a brace from Gabby Alphas gave the Greens the win. Afterwards, manager Ryan Perks and two-goal hero Gabby Alphas spoke to Dan Newton.
It's great to get 3 points on the board finally. It's been a long time coming. The girls have played really well the first two games, they've got nothing for it. Bit of contrast, because I didn't think we actually played that well today. But second half was a lot better than the first half. But like you say, we took our chances, and nice to come away with 3 points.
Can you talk us through some of the goals? Obviously Gabby got 2, and I thought that second was a particularly good shot.
Yeah, so Gabby's good at running in behind. She's got a great shot on her. She's received the ball out wide, she's dribbled in, and she's just instincts hitting, and she's had a great shot and scored a good goal. Her first one I thought was decent as well. Yeah, but all the goals were well worked. Zoe's free kick was decent. So yeah, really happy with the goals, and the performance needs improving. But the girls know that, we know that. But like I say, it's lovely to come here and get a 5-1 win when we haven't really played that well.
Again, everyone's going to look at the 5 goals, but again at the back with Tracy Cross in there again. I thought she played well again.
Yeah, Tracy was superb again. Like you say, not ever played centre back. We've put her out of position again. Still missing 6 or 7 players again, but she's slotted in and been fantastic for us. So yeah, really pleased with Tracy and her application. She's got a great attitude, so really happy.
It was really good. It's nice to see all the girls finally happy. Yeah, obviously nice win to get in the bag. Bit scrappy at places, but yeah, it was good once it got settled and everyone got into it. Yeah, it was nice to come away with the 3 points.
On a personal level, you scored twice. Do you want to talk us through the goals?
First one down this side. I think I just took it in and I was on the spin anyway, and I just thought, I'd just go for the bottom corner. So yeah, it went in the bottom one, and then at the other side, took on one player and just kept going, and just thought I'll just hit it. Went in. I didn't even realise until everyone else was chapping, and yeah, next thing you know, I had Natman on my back, and yeah, it's gone in.
Congratulations. Well, they were 2 really good strikes.
Thank you.
On to Oxford next. Do you look forward to that game?
Yeah, it's another home game, so it's good for the girls obviously to have the settle again. Back home, close to home, not too much of a journey. Obviously this one wasn't too bad. But yeah, good to go again and hopefully get another 3 points.
And as Gabby was saying there, they are back in action this Sunday against Oxford United. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff at the Manadon Sports Hub. Before we bring you second half commentary of tonight's game between Newport and Argyle, we do have another chat to bring you. This time it's with Graham Little, a name that will be very, very familiar to a lot of you. Graham worked for Plymouth Argyle for 26 years and has been connected with the club for far, far longer than that. He was at Home Park for the 1-1 draw with Fleetwood on Saturday, and he caught up with Charlie Price just ahead of kickoff.
Putting on matches, we had some tremendous games, 40,000 crowds. Santos, when Pelly came here, I mean, that was a crazy thing. That was because they'd played, Santos had played Fulham a few days beforehand, and they were on 50% of the gate, and it turned out that they had 11,000. Santos maintained there was more people there, but when they came to us, me and the chairman had signed an agreement. 2,500 was their payment for the match. On the night when they came here, there was 36,000 people here. They saw there was a big crowd here, and straight away they said, we're not going to play unless you double the amount.
Must have been some panic in there then from you, Graham, thinking, oh no.
The quarter of an hour from the kick-off, their players hadn't changed. So we had to agree to it because there would have been uproar with the fans. So at the end, after the match, we beat them 3-2. And after the match, we had a reception at the Holiday Inn on the Hoe. And my chairman had got the money through the bank manager. And he said to me, we've booked a room up there. You better come up with me, Graham. And they got their representative, and we'll give them the money. So I had these cellophane packets, and as I dropped them on the bed, this fella scooped them into a bag. And Robert Daniels, the chairman, said to him, You have twisted us. It's disgusting what you've done, and we will report you to the FA, who will report you to FIFA, and you will never play football in this country again. Wow. And he said, plenty more countries, he said. So that was that. So
wow. And they had their money.
About 2 or 3 years later, the FA rang me and said, Mr. Little, we got some money for you. I said, well, what's that for? They said, Santos want to play in Holland, Ajax in Holland, and we've told them they can't play until they pay you what they owe you. So we got the money.
Oh, wow.
So we had the money. I rang up the chairman and said, we got the money back.
He must have been delighted. What do you make now when you look around the ground and how much it's changed since your time?
Absolutely wonderful. It really is. It's almost like a Premier club now in comparison to what it was, you know. Yeah. And I mean, the supporters had the place they had before. We used to think it was all right, but it's luxurious.
The big bar, I know, yeah.
In comparison, it's luxurious.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
So they're indebted to the owner, the chairman. He's done a wonderful job, really. 30 years ago, yesterday, Arsenal came down and played a testimonial match for me and didn't charge any expenses. They just won the FA Cup and won the league, and they brought the cups down. I always remember putting them in the boot of my car
trying to drive off
when I met them at the hotel. And when I see the FA Cup being brought, I said, that FA Cup, that's been in the boot of my car. And I never had my photograph done with them. I should have done, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah, and then with it in your car as well. I don't think many people can say that, Graham, if had the FA Cup in your car. Well, it's lovely chatting to you. Yeah, we'll have another catch-up another time.
26 years, a lot happened.
I'm sure.
Well, you can hear more of that chat with Graham Little on the Argyle podcast, the next episode of the Argyle podcast, which comes out tomorrow. More information on the podcast on pafc.co.uk, and you can get it in all of your normal podcast areas. So whether you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever it may be, look for the Argyle podcast and find the latest episode. Graham Little is such an interesting man. There's more stories about Argyle than anyone else I know. And if you are interested in a few more of those, if you can get your hands on a copy, because I know they're a bit scarce these days, a book called Little on the Inside that was written a couple of years ago, which is Graham Little in conversation with Chris Groves. Lots and lots of great stories from Graham's long history with Argyle. There's all sorts of people featured in that, people like George Best, Jimmy Greaves, Alf Ramsey, obviously Pele, you just heard a bit there, Brian Clough, Matt Busby, Elton John, and various others that were mentioned. Trevor Francis used to call him Uncle Graham, and there's a reason for that. Such a fascinating set of stories from Graham. If you get a chance to read that, and indeed make sure you listen to the podcast this week. Before we get into the second half at Rodney Parade, 0-0 between Newport and Argyle in the Papa John's Trophy. Let's have a look at some other results, other latest scores in that competition. Lots of games kicked off at 7 p.m. tonight, so we can. These are mostly half times. Running you quickly through the ones that are live at the moment. So that's Bolton 1, Port Vale 2, Bradford City 0, Lincoln 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Cheltenham 0, Burton 0, Milton Keynes 0, Cambridge 2, Oxford 0. Oxford have had a man sent off in that game. It's Carlisle 1, Hartlepool 1, Charlton 3, Crawley 0, Forest Green 1, Northampton 0, Oldham 1, Salford 0, Rochdale 1, Liverpool under-21s 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Newcastle under-21s 0, Shrewsbury 0, Crewe 0, Stevenage 1, Tottenham under-21s 2, Wigan 0, Wolverhampton under-21s 0, and Wycombe 1, Aston Villa under-21s 1. Those are all the half-times. There's a game that's played about half an hour, which is Sutton 0, Crystal Palace under-21s 0, and some 7:45 kickoffs. Accrington 0-0 with Barrow, Fleetwood 1-0 up against Leicester under-21s, and Harrogate 0, Mansfield 0. Those games have all played only 13 or 14 minutes. Back to our game. We're nearly getting ready for the second half between Newport and Argyle. 0-0 in this game. Brian McGlinchey is with me. We've talked about how Newport have had the better of that first half, although still no goals as yet. It looked like towards the end of that half, Argyle made some tactical switches. We saw Rhys Shirley off the left, Ryan Law coming in field. I thought maybe Jordan Garrett was playing a bit further forward as well. So Ryan Lowe's obviously seen that he needs to tweak something around. Now he's had half time, he'll probably have a little bit more time to get across exactly what he's looking for and why he's made those changes, if indeed they're permanent in the game.
Yeah, he would definitely be doing that, but whatever tactics you have, it's all about just getting on the ball and doing the simple things well. And I think Argyle unfortunately are just a bit too deep. They obviously maybe would want to start the game like that and get a foothold of the game, but as the game goes on, you want to get pushed up and you want to try to make it more difficult for Newport to get on the ball. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the tactical sort of decision of keeping Ryan Law in that sort of inside left position, or he will either revert back to the wing back. But as I say, it's all about Argyle just getting further up the pitch and just making a few more passes together, because when they do that, they've got into decent positions, and arguably they've had the best chance as well. So for Newport's possession, they haven't really cut us open yet, or made a chance where you think, they should have scored there really.
Both teams are now coming out onto the field of play, and we mentioned it once or twice in the first half about Adam Randall getting into the game a bit more. We've seen flashes of him. We've seen him get caught on the ball a couple of times, but that might be because he's a little bit, not having the assistance that he might have. But he's a confident player. It doesn't matter that he's had a few, slightly more negative moments in the game tonight. He'll want the ball more, and he's a creator for Argyle. He will be somewhere that's a threat if Argyle can get the ball to him more, won't he?
Yeah, he doesn't hide. He wants the ball. And he even wants the ball when people are marking him. That's a sign of a quality player. They don't care if they're being marked tightly. They'll take it on the safe side and keep the ball moving. So I just felt sometimes he was looking for it in these little sort of spaces, and there was one particular instance where Garrick just didn't give it to him. He just got to try and get on the ball more, because if he's that link between the midfield and the front man, and if he can get on the ball more, that will definitely help Argyle. He's playing a very similar role to what Houghton does for the sort of the first team on a Saturday, really. So hopefully he can get more on the ball more.
We are about to kick off the second half. Newport have made a couple of changes, which I'll let you know about in just a second. Let's kick this half off, and then once we've done so, we'll go through those changes. It's Argyle to get us underway in this second half when our referee is ready. An Angel Warrior touch it back to Randall, who clips it down the left-hand side, looking for a group of Argyle players who go in search of that first ball. And it will eventually fall to Finley Crass, but a foul, says the referee. So Newport get an early free kick in this second period. A couple of their more experienced players, Newport, have come off at half-time. That is Robbie Wilmot and Matty Dolan. So they're probably literally their two most experienced players have been replaced at half-time. And coming on in their stead are Zach Mayer and Yestin Evans. Down the left-hand side come Newport, but it's a flag up against Timmy Abraham, who I think I've called Tammy about 4 times in the first half, and I'm going to try and stop that in the second half, although I think you can understand my confusion on that one, but I've got to stop doing that. But he was offside there. And Argyle work it across to Purcell. And he looks to go into the left-hand channel, didn't really get hold of his ball forward. It looks in the early stages that Argyle have reverted back to how they were looking early on in the game, Brian, with Ryan Law back at left wing back and the orthodox 5-3-2 or 3-5-2 that we're used to seeing. Yeah,
he's very much so against the touchline, so indicating that he's going to play the wing. But maybe they were just trying to get a bit more of a foothold in the game because they're under pressure, but they reverted back to, they went into that sort of different position for Ryan Law. But yeah, back to normality at the moment.
Oh, Newport have given the ball straight to Shirley on the left-hand side. Can he get beyond his man and get across? And he can. Well, he got to the byline. He goes down under a bit of pressure. I don't think there was anything in that at all. And I think it will be, well, I was going to say I thought it was going to be a goal kick, but actually it's going to be a corner. But that's that explosive pace of Rhys Shirley. He was rather given the ball. He was gifted it, but he still made something of it driving past his man.
Yeah, he's direct. And for me as a defender, nothing worse. Someone just running at you. You know, he doesn't have to be skillful. He just run at you and run you back to your own goal is a horrible position to be in as a defender. Randall's corner from the left-hand side, high into the centre. The goalkeeper juggled it a little bit, Townsend. Argyle, I think, we're expecting it to go a bit deeper, judging from where the men in white made the run. Townsend wasn't convincing in pouching it. He got there in the end. Now he has the ball at his feet, as Newport look to get it upfield. Here's Woody Wiss. Goes into the feet of Mayer. That's his first real touch of the ball, Zach Mayer. And now Livermore through the centre. Tries to go out to the right-hand side. That's going to be intercepted by Law. And he eventually receives the ball back again on the left flank. Clips it in towards where Kraska's drifted out from the centre. And again, he's able to use his body really well, Finley Crass. He's really developed over the last year or so physically. He's grown in from a boy into a man, and he shows that in good supply in that midfield. Uses his body well and managed to win a free kick there. Tomlinson across to Wilson. There's nothing really on there for Argyle, so they go back to their goalkeeper. They'll want to try, especially early on in this second half, Brian, to get hold of the ball and play that Argyle way a bit more, won't they, to have that possession. They would have been dominated in possession in the first half, and that doesn't happen very often. No, it doesn't. And as I say, they've just got to get further up the pitch and play the ball through and believe. I think that the key for this is Randall. If they can get Randall on the ball, he can keep it and he can move it from right to left and get Newport, moving from side to side. But that's the big thing, is when Argyle do it well, it's always through Houghton, isn't it? And that's for me something they've got to maybe Randall try and do a bit more, try and get into different positions to try and get on the ball a bit more.
Here's Shirley finding James Wilson. Comes over the halfway line. Got Warrior to his right, uses him, and he can advance. Good position inside right here, gets to the edge of the area. Garrick's outside him. Thought about crossing first time, but then takes a step. Tries to get outside of Lewis. Comes infield actually onto his left foot. Tees up Warrior again. Wanted the 1-2 with Garrick, but then it goes to Wilson. His cross to the far post, header from Ryan Law. Oh, it's wide. It's wide. It wasn't an easy header because there were at least a couple of defenders around him. The timing of the run was excellent. We're going to see it again on our feed here to see a replay. He's managed to get in between the two, and dare I say it, inside the 6-yard area. Getting there was the hard bit. He's got to get it on target, hasn't he? Yeah,
he's done brilliant to get there. For your left wing back to come in at the back stake, that's just the ultimate in wing back play, to be honest. And he's done brilliant. Great cross by Wilson. Really, really sort of great technique to get the ball into that sort of back stick area between the goalkeeper and the back four there. And he's just got to head that on target, hit the target there. But he could have had a hat trick tonight. The chances he's had.
Good ball over the top here for Newport. Going to find Abraham on the left-hand side. Sets it back to Lewis. Gets away from Garrick. Lovely Cruyff turn. Gets in towards the area. Has to go back onto his right foot again and cross it. Law can head away to the edge of the box to the substitute Mayer. Telford trying to wriggle free. Plays it into, well, he will end up playing towards himself. He actually made a run onto the end of a ball that he was trying to play to a teammate. Argyle clear with some distance. And then Shirley, brilliant turn from him, comes infield and opens up some space for himself. Holds it up to allow some Argyle players to assist him. Eventually, it's Randall. And he goes out to Garrick. It was a bit of a slow ball across, but Garrick picks it up, now bursts in field, trying to get by his man. Good defending from the Newport man. It was Kane that stuck with him. Argyle shift it from right to left. Law, that's behind Krask, who has got to get there on the turn, has done, although he's had to return it to Purcell. Nice early ball from Purcell into Shirley. That looked a foul. Oh, they've flagged up. He was actually offside, but that was a really smart ball by Brandon Purcell. If that had come off and Shirley would have been onside, we'd have been raving on it, but actually it turned out to be a foul. Let's go right the way back to that chance before for Law. To see your right-sided centre-back crossing for your left wing-back, that's got to be a good sign. Yeah, no, it's
brilliant to see, and that's where you get that maybe overload down the right-hand side when your sort of right-side centre-half is in that position. But really got it for Ryan Law, because he's got into some great positions. And he's the technique's right. He just couldn't get it on target. He's headed it down, really unlucky, to be honest. I feel for him really, because he could have scored against Swansea a week ago, and then he could have had a couple here tonight. So hopefully his luck will turn.
Tomlinson just seeing a ball back here to Callum Burton in the Argyle goal. 52 minutes played in this game in the Papa John's Trophy. Newport 0, Argyle 0. A reminder, if it stays level after 90 minutes, we will have a penalty shootout for an extra point. Doesn't give one side the win, it gives you an extra point. So if it's a draw, both sides will go on to 1 point for the competition, and then the winners of that shootout would go on to 2. Again, it's Swindon and Arsenal, the other teams in this group. Those two play each other next week. Argyle are at home to Swindon on October the 12th, and then home to the Arsenal representative team on November the 16th, by which point the group should be sorted. Down the left go Argyle again. Law tries to bring down a high ball. Newport can clear, but Purcell, who again, similar to Tomlinson alongside him, who he now plays it to, the body language of Brandon Purcell and Ollie Tomlinson, to me, is so positive, so assured in what they're doing. I think when you're such a young age, coming into the team, it's half the battle, winning the mental side of things. In the end, Shirley tries to flick a ball on and it goes out for a throw-in. You can't always control the talent of a player. You can nurture them, you can bring them on, but that's almost a natural physical thing. But you can help the mental side of things, and these Argyle boys look ready.
Yeah, 100%, and that's first team experience, that is. You can play academy football all you like, but once you get into playing against men and playing for livelihood, it's a different ball game altogether. So getting first team experience will give them that confidence, and they definitely look really calm on the ball and assured. There's two young centre halves there, but I think Argyle started the second half better. I think they're a lot more calm on possession, and they seem to be in position a lot more than they did in the first half.
Law battling away on the flank with Bright. Those two seem to have come into competition quite a lot in this game. Law wins that little battle, and it's a throw into Argyle in the left back area. Law is going to look to go down the line. Krask is offering himself up as a target, as is Shirley, who wins the flick. Oscar Massey tries to get across his man and does so, just can't wriggle himself away. Again, the Argyle forwards just getting a bit isolated, trying to win the ball, having to do a little bit much on their own. As Newport play right through the centre. Kane, and now Telford, again tries to shoot from the edge of the box. It's blocked. Krask is the man who runs it away. Runs into a bit of trouble. The deflection falls kindly enough though for Law. He plays it over the top towards Massey. That's overhit. Lewis will go back and defend and returns the ball to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, disappointing there. Law had a really good opportunity to find his front man there. He just overhit the pass. Maybe the option there is maybe not to force it, just try and keep the ball, keep a bit of possession again. But yeah, it's as I said, Argyle have, for me, look a bit more confident on the ball. There looks to be a bit more time in the ball. Maybe the experience gone off for Newport has allowed Argyle to maybe have that bit more time, but nothing of evidence yet of a sort of chance as such.
Wilson under a bit of pressure. I think he dribbled that out. Flag has gone up for a throw in to Newport. Wilson protests a little, but he had just run the ball over the line, so Lewis will come and take a throw in about 25 yards from the corner flag on the left flank. Gets it back from Livermore, who wanted the ball back again. Greedy for the ball is Livermore in a good way, and he gets it again here. Flicks it round the corner, and again he wants it back from Jake Kane. Gets it, Livermore trying to turn away from Warrior and plays it out to the left hand side to Lewis. Then Cooper just slipped and went down. Oh, a free kick's been given. Did maybe Randall stand on his heel or something? It looked as if there was not a lot of contact there and Cooper went down. I thought he just maybe sort of twisted his ankle on the turf and slipped, but free kick given.
I think Randall's sort of body language is saying he must have caught him there, because he's not making any sort of demonstrations with the referee.
No, he's not, you're right.
And he's been booked as well, so he's probably just trying to stay well away from the referee in that sense.
Yeah, just quell that one where possible. It'll be a free kick to Newport. It's a dangerous area, this. It's up from the left-hand side. It's not quite in the corner, but it's wide on the left. Referee just telling the two-man Argyle wall to stay their distance behind the slightly curved line that he has drawn on the pitch. Lewis, right-footed, playing left-back today, but he's right-footed, will step up and whip this ball in towards the far post. It was a good ball. It was well met by Callum Burton, who reached out a left arm and punched it clear. Out for a throw in the other side. You knew what was coming there from Aaron Lewis. He was always going to deliver it that way, and it was a good ball in, but the goalkeeper stood up.
Yeah, no, that's what you want. You want your goalkeeper who commands any 6-yard box and sort of clearing the danger. You've heard Burton's done well tonight. He's made some really... You expected him to make some of the saves he's made, but he's done that well.
Shot comes in. Oh, it's in. We've been talking about shots from distance from Newport, and they fired one in from a long way out here. Dom Telford. We've already experienced the return of the old Argyle striker. Earlier on in the season it was Freddie Ladapo. This time the ball into Telford. We've been saying we don't mind them having to go from distance too much, but that was a cracker. Opened his body up, curled it with his left foot, and it's into the corner. And while that's what we've been seeing all night so far, is Newport shooting from distance. They've not really got their radar right, Brian McGlinchey, until now.
Yeah, no, great strike by Telford on his left foot. Burton had no chance there. It was well wide, and yeah, no, really good striking. I would just kiss of death, really. I was just saying that they're not really affecting us, but yeah, unfortunately, that's great striking, the 1-0 up. But Argyle just got to come out now and give it a good go.
It would be Dom Telford. They had a couple of opportunities in the first half, the former Argyle players, Timmy Abraham and Dom Telford. And they've had twice as many as usual opportunities in terms of having two players on the pitch to score against their old side, and he's managed to do it there. Telford with a very, very good finish, it has to be said. And although Argyle have come out relatively brightly in this second period, Newport will probably feel they deserve it overall, and they might be looking for a quick-fire second. Abraham down the right-hand side. trying to get outside of Purcell, who tries to block the cross. It ends up going over everybody and out the other side. There was no real end product there from Abraham.
He's very direct, Abraham, but just his final ball there was poor. He does look at a threat. But that's what we've got to do is now just quell their pressure, because they'll be going for that second goal to kill the game off. But Argyle just got to sort of see this period out.
This becomes a different sort of test for Argyle's young team. How do you react to going a goal behind? Up until now, it's been a relatively sedate pace to the game. And indeed, both teams sitting off one another a little bit, allowing each other to shoot from distance, and perhaps on this one occasion that everything conspired, the perfect storm of where Telford was able to curl his finish into the corner. And as Newport step up their search for a second, they have a corner from the left-hand side. Lewis to take it. Telford has come over for the short ball. We've seen already several Newport corners where they've worked their way in short, and they're going to do it again. Telford to Lewis. Little back flick to Telford. And then Livermore back out to Lewis again. Patience from Newport, and they do the 1-2 down the left flank that gets Lewis in again. He can't go onto his left foot though. That's the issue of having the right-sided player playing at left back, is he always wants on his right foot, and it means Newport have checked their way back, but they've retained the ball, and it's now ended up with Evans from long distance. Oh, goodness me, if he wants to have a go from long distance, that was about as far out as you're going to get, and it was on target, it was dipping. I think Burton initially saw that one and said, well, he's about literally 40, 45 yards out, he's never going to shoot. When he did finally pull the trigger, he kept it on target. You'd never want a goalkeeper to be beaten from that distance, Brian McGlinchey, but it wasn't a bad effort.
He was nearly beaten, by the way. I think he moved into the middle of the park, and he just thought he had no other options, and he just thought he'll have a strike. And thankfully, it scraped like the net at the top of the bar. It was a great strike, to be honest. And thankfully, it was just over.
Another substitution for Newport. Jake Kane, who only arrived today, is giving way, and he's being replaced by Evan Ovendale. Still got the best part of 29 minutes to go. Newport going for their third sub already, and they work another short corner. This is obviously a real set of routines that they've got, trying to work their way in. A Michael Flynn philosophy. This time they've worked it to Telford on the edge of the box. He looked for a 1-2 that he didn't get, but he managed to get hold of the loose ball, and then a really tidy ball in behind there. Oh, and it's fired across by Cooper. The ball in over the top from Livermore was gorgeous, finding the run of Ollie Cooper. And I'm not sure if he just got caught in two minds or whether he dragged the shot, but he maybe could have passed it square. He maybe could have tried to rattle it in the corner. And in the end, he did a bit of a cross between the two, and the ball went out for a goal kick. But in all truth, Brian, I think they should be 2-0 up, Newport.
Yeah, no, Cooper's done well tonight. He's got into a really good position, great running behind, and he's thrashed across the 6-yard box, which, not a bad cross, but I think he had time to maybe pick someone out there, and Abraham was at the back stick, and thankfully it didn't get to him, and we can sort of breathe a sigh of relief when we're not 2-0 down.
It's an Argyle substitution. Off comes Jordan Garrick. Replacing him is Will Jenkins-Davis. Probably more comfortable in a midfield position is Will, but he has played at wing back before, so that is a likely straight swap with him coming onto the right hand side. I think I might just previously have got the Newport sub wrong. I think it's actually Ryan Hillier that's come on. I do beg your pardon. So Ryan Hillier on for the third Newport substitution. Newport have a throw-in at the moment in their left back area. Jenkins-Davis grabbed himself a goal for the reserves. For the reserves, what am I saying? For the academy side a couple of weeks ago. So he's got a bit of confidence coming into this game, and it's another new face, another new pilgrim. Ball is with Woody Wiss in the centre. Tries to play it outside to Lewis. That's good block by Wilson, who plays it into the feet of Shirley. He tries to turn away, and it's just tight into his feet, and he just can't get himself around the corner. I have to correct myself again. It was actually Angel Warrior, who came off for Argyle, not Jordan Garrick, and Jenkins Davis comes onto the centre of the park. Do apologise. Newport have the ball again at the back.
That's been a sort of common thing in Argyle's sort of front play. The ball's been gone up to their feet, and unfortunately we're not able to keep it and bring midfielders into play. We're trying to maybe do too much there. Surely trying to do a turn without maybe just getting it under control. Just one of those things where maybe a bit of experience on the pitch with Tam just to keep it.
Livermore for Newport, plays it out to his right to Yestin Evans. He gets it back, and Newport are going to want to control this game through here. They've still got 25 minutes or more to see out, but they have been the better side overall. Argyle would have been probably happy enough with how they came out in the second half, but now Newport are in front. They do look to be the side that's looking to control it even more. They've got their goal, they've got something to protect, and I think it's given them a bit more confidence. Keeping the ball at the back here, with keeping Argyle at arm's length. Jenkins Davis, the freshest man in green and white, doing a bit of chasing. Trying to work it through to Cooper of Newport, blocked off by Wilson. Cooper takes a quick throw. Abraham tries to get away from Randall, who knows he's got to be careful on the booking. Referee would have given a free kick there, but he's allowed play to go on as County still have it. Abraham, good block by Law, managed to get it away. And Krask picks the ball up, plays it to Law, who continues his run on the left-hand side. Argyle have got a few bodies forward here. Law brought down. Might be a booking. Looked to be a cynical foul as the Ryan Law looked to break away down the side. And the pull of the shirt, I think it was Harrison Bright that just pulled. That was a pretty straightforward decision for the referee there. Law was away and Bright pulled him back. Yeah,
really cynical. You could see his hand was raised and he was just doing all he can to pull him back. And yeah, you know, it's one of them ones where you're the opposing player, you absolutely hate it because you're in a really sort of great position. His Law was there, but maybe he's just doing one for his team to try and halt the attack. But very frustrating from an Argyle perspective.
The free kick is maybe 40 yards or so out. The referee just walking back a two-man Newport wall. A couple of Argyle players over it, looking to send this ball into the area, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players along the edge of the box. So a set piece, perhaps Argyle's best chance to get back into this. Highs to the far post from Randall, and in truth, that's the second time Argyle have had a free kick in that position. This one goes sailing out for a goal kick, and in the first half we saw Ryan Law put it straight into the goalkeeper's hands. Of the Argyle players that are out on the pitch tonight, they are two with the more experience, you know, than some of the younger lads. They've got to be doing better than that.
Yeah, no, for me, I'd be trying to maybe do an out swinging, free kick, the ball swinging out towards from the goal really, than those in swingers, because if you don't get it right, it's running out of play or going into the goalkeeper's arms. So the set pieces haven't been good enough. The corner, there's one corner, remember Wilson headed it back towards into the 6-yard box. That's probably the one of note that was slightly different, but yeah, a bit of quality's just been lacking this evening.
I'm sure Ryan Lowe will want to keep some of his more experienced players that he has, short in number though they might be, out on the field as long as possible, but just wonder whether it's not necessarily been his night, Brands, and he's on a yellow card, but he'll want to keep him out there, I'm sure. Here goes Garrick, lovely run, beats a couple, gets to the edge of the area, plays it to his right for Jenkins Davis. It's slightly overhit, but it stayed alive, clipped in, header from the near post from Massey. Oh, it's wide. It's wide. What a burst from Garrick, who's now gone down to the ground. I'm hoping he's okay after that break forward. Referee has booked Livermore, I think, for attempting to foul Garrick. He didn't even manage to get hold of him, but it was a brilliant burst. Jenkins Davis looked like he'd gone a bit too wide. Not his own fault, the way the ball had fallen to him, but a nice little dinked cross. Massey doing everything right, except not quite directing it inside the near post. A better move from Argyle, certainly the best they've had in the second half.
Yeah, Garrick came to life, didn't he? Just skipped past a few players and he got a thump for his efforts there, and he did release Jenkins Davis. Jenkins did really well. It was a really nice cross, little dink to the front post, and fortunately just couldn't get on target, but decent play by Garrick, very direct.
It's the last action that we'll see from Massey as he gives way. He's been replaced. We played just about 68 and a half minutes here. And he gives way to a piece of Plymouth Argyle history. Number 48, coming on in the 69th minute of this game, is Freddie Asaka. Born on the 27th of July, 15 years and 35 days ago. He becomes the youngest ever Plymouth Argyle player by my reckoning, 373 days younger than the previous record holder. That is amazing. Whatever happens tonight, you're watching a bit of history here, folks. And there's his first involvement, hassling a defender. He is a centre forward and he's got the ball and he's tried to get away and he's been tripped. His Argyle career is about a minute old and it's going very, very well.
Yeah, ball broke him nicely and he won a free kick. Good position, but fair play. What an achievement at that young age, getting a debut. Don't care what trophy it's in, that is some achievement at that age.
Another booking for a Newport player. This time it was Aaron Lewis, so both fullbacks now into the book. And I say for about the third time today, Argyle have got a free kick. This one's probably a bit closer than the last one. It's about 35 yards or so out. And Brandon Purcell comes over to take this one. Ryan Law and Adam Randall have been over all these free kicks so far, but Purcell has trotted over. I think he's not definitely going to take it, I should say, because Randall's with him. But Purcell, the left footer, looks as if he's setting himself up. Law's going to take in a position inside the centre. If I didn't know better, I'd say that Brandon Purcell looks like he's going to shoot here. It's a very long way out, so it would be very ambitious. But he is setting his body in a certain way. Now he's got his arm up in the air. That suggests that it's maybe going to be a little flip into the area. Randall is there too, but Purcell certainly looks favourite. Clip ball in. Pretty decent one as well. Coming into the far post is Shirley. Oh, saved at the near post. Law keeps it alive. Can Garrick play it across? Still bouncing around in the area. Oh, and eventually launched clear by Abraham. And it'll go out for an Argyle throw right in front. In fact, Stephen Schumacher catches the ball in the Argyle dugout and gives it to Ryan Law. That was a great job. We were talking about the delivery. Purcell took over, and that's the best one we've seen. Great ball in.
Yeah, really good ball in. Just give the goalkeeper no chance to come and claim it. And we should have scored really. I think maybe it was on target. It was a decent save, but there was no pace on the header, and just didn't trouble the goalkeeper at all. But yeah, really good delivery.
Nice from Randall. Took it in really well. Played it through to Jenkins Davis. Just his first touch from him lets the ball away from him, and Newport are able to get it away. That was nice from Randall. Really positive the way he took that in and shifted it forward. More of that would be really effective. And with that run we saw from Garrick early on, we've kind of almost let skim under the radar a little bit, but he did brilliantly well to get past three. Makes the throw in now to Jenkins Davis, who wins another Argyle free kick. I didn't mean to skip over it the way I did that Garrick run. It was so direct and it was so exciting to watch a winger take players on that way.
Yeah, no, that's what he's in the team for, isn't he? He's not known for his defensive stuff, but if he can get the ball into those sort of dangerous areas where he can get at people, and he did that on Saturday when he came on, he will be a real threat for the club.
He's managed to turn away from Lewis here, and Lewis has to back off because he's just got himself a booking. Let's get at those full-backs. Oh, Randall's just given the ball away as he tried to play it through the centre. Livermore sweeps it forward to ask rather a lot of the player chasing down there into the channel. He was never quite going to get that one.
Yeah, shame. Randall's far better than that. He's had a couple of opportunities to make forward passes, and he's not having his best tonight, but he'll keep. That's the one thing about him. He'll keep wanting the ball. He won't hide, and good sign of a good player. That.
Here's Tomlinson to Purcell. We've played 72.5 minutes in this game. Newport lead by 1-0. No more than they deserved, really, and they did have a couple of chances to make it too, but Argyle have been bright in the last 5 minutes. Have created a chance for Massey, for Shirley, and other balls knocking around in the area. And can they find something else here with Jenkins Davis? Cuts in field, plays it back to Randall. Nice ball from him to his left to Krask. Law joins in. Sorry, Purcell joins in, I beg your pardon again. Plays it into the centre. Oh, it's bounced away from Jenkins Davis, who played a part in the start of that run, part of that move, I should say, and continued his run into the area. In the end, that was just the ball not quite falling to him, Brian, but again, Argyle just starting to get a rolling in this game.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good to see Purcell. He's making that overload down the left. He's trying to get round Ryan Law. Now, decent crossing, but you're right. Jenkins Davis, he couldn't really do anything. He was just flying in the box, but the ball was just bouncing in front of him, and he just tried to get anything on it to try and make contact towards goal. Difficult chance that was.
Brandon Purcell started the evening as Argyle's third youngest player ever. He's now been knocked off the podium down into 4th, but he's coming into this game in the second half and made a good run and put a good ball in there. And Jenkins Davis, another fresh face who's done well since he's come on, looked lively, just couldn't quite get on the end of that one. Header forward from Randall looking for Isaka. Can't get hold of the ball, but he's pressuring Newport, although good little triangle move from County. And then they play through Telford and now to Cooper. That was nice from Newport. Jenkins Davis now doing some tracking back on Cooper, but Cooper's got all the way to the line, clips the cross in. Oh no, he doesn't. He sliced it well behind. He's been an eye catcher tonight for Newport, Ollie Cooper. He couldn't quite do anything on that occasion, slicing it behind, but they'll feel they've made a good acquisition there from what I've seen so far tonight.
Yeah, you're right. He's probably been their best player. He's been really good getting on the ball, making things happen. Obviously, he could have maybe made a better cross for that chance he had, but yeah, he's done very well. Looks like a good player from Swansea.
Shirley Randall, and now into Isaka. Burst down the left-hand side. That's a good challenge, and it had to be from Woodywis. Isaka is rapid and managed to get away from his man. He stayed down, Woodywis. I think it's a cramp situation, certainly judging by his teammate doing the old-fashioned push the toes back. You can do however many years at medical school you like, but no one can beat pushing the toes back when you've got a bit of cramp, can they?
No, that's the only cure, unfortunately.
It's going to be an Argyle throw when we start again on the left-hand side. Ryan Law just waiting for the signal to be allowed to take it. Argyle will want to push on here. They won't want to have too many delays to this game. Thrown into Isaka, lets the ball go over his toes, and Livermore, excuse me, who's been another live wire for Newport, sends the ball into the channel looking for Abraham. Purcell's now got a physical battle here, and Abraham's actually beaten him to the ball, holds it up. Purcell sticks to his task, now has some help from Law. Abraham still has it. Ryan Law not giving up the chase, but Abraham did well there physically to hold on to the ball and work through the centre into Mayer. And now Liverpool tries to find Abraham again. Purcell still sticking to that battle. And Abraham down the line to Bright. Good position to cross it to the near post. It's a teasing little ball across the 6-yard area. Eventually Garrick on the right-hand side with a bit of help from Wilson. And now Randall. They bring it away, Argyle, in really nice, calm fashion. But it was a dangerous ball across the centre from Bright. It was a bit innocuous. But it's the kind of ball that if someone is firing a run into the near or the far post, that could have been the second.
Yeah, no, it was decent delivery. Sort of good overlap down the right-hand side, and he's put that ball in. You wouldn't expect... it was a really good ball. That's where you want to put the Argyle on the attack here.
Lauren Isaka with a little 1-2. Newport clear, but only as far as Argyle skipper for this evening, Adam Randall. Uses Purcell, who fires it into Law. Goes down. Will the referee give the free kick or allow play to go on? He gives the kick. Finley Krask had it, but Argyle probably won't mind the fact that they can send another ball into the area. It's been hit and miss, the delivery into the area, but the last one was a very good one from Purcell. And he's coming across to the ball again here with Randall. So yet again, we've seen quite a lot of these chances or these set pieces. Brian, Argyle will hope that the ball's going to drop for them eventually.
Yeah, it's probably their best opportunity, if I'm honest. If they put some decent deliveries in, they can maybe get on the end of it, because that's where they've had probably the most sort of dividends in this second half so far. Be interested to see if it's an in-swinger or an out-swinger.
It was Purcell last time with an in-swinger. This time it's him again, but it's an out-swinger because it came from the left. Goalkeeper's come a long way. He managed to get something on it. Wasn't convincing, but it was effective. And now it's Newport who burst away. Cooper gets in front of Jenkins Davis, goes down. Referee gives the free kick and a yellow card to Jenkins Davis.
It's never a free kick in my eyes, that. Cooper's just run over the ball himself. Feel sorry for Jenkins Davis there, he's done nothing. I think the referee's bought that one.
Certainly, nominally, he'll feel at home, won't he? A man like Jenkins Davis will have seen plenty of action in places like Newport over the years, but he's very much an Argyle boy, and he was tracking back there, doing his job as much as he could, but Cooper managed to, let's say, persuade the referee that a foul had been committed. And it's a good position for Newport. We've got 11.5 minutes plus whatever is going to be added on. And if Newport can get a second at this point, it won't quite kill the game off. There is still time to get 2 back, but it would be a very, very difficult task for Argyle. Lewis, the left fullback, is right-footed and is lining himself over this one. And something similar that I said last time that Argyle had a free kick. I think he's going to shoot here, Lewis.
I think so too. He's looking totally at the wall, isn't he, to try and put it over the wall.
It's a deception. Down the left-hand side to Cooper. Clips the ball in. Header from Abraham falls to the feet of Telford. Abraham then with the shot cleared away by Argyle. And now Livermore burst on down the left-hand side. Dummies away from Jenkins-Davis. Getting himself right to the corner flag is Livermore. Jenkins-Davis, good recovery, goal kick. That was a good piece of defending from Jenkins-Davis, not allowing the recent booking to cloud his judgment. But we sort of bought that free kick from Lewis, didn't we? I know we're not exactly on the pitch and can't do a lot about it, but we thought he was going to shoot. Perhaps Argyle defenders did as well. It was a good good decoy.
Yeah, good disguise on his efforts there. I was adamant, like yourself, he was going to have a strike at goal. But yeah, they've opted for a lot of short set pieces, haven't they? They've gone short corners, short free kicks. Shouldn't have been surprised there, to be honest.
No, that's very true. It's clearly something that's in Michael Flynn's repertoire. Ball forward now, looking for the run of Isaka. Good defending by Woody Wiss, who's recovered from that cramp to get in a good position there to clear the ball away as we enter the final 10 minutes. You're watching Argyle TV live. It's Newport County 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. Our last first team fixture for a little under 2 weeks. No first team game at the weekend. It was due to be Portsmouth in the league. And that's been called off because of international commitments. We'll go through at the end of the game how you can watch another match on Friday, but we'll talk about that at the end of the game because we're really into the important phase of this game as Law just loses the ball on the left-hand side and Newport will want to break away. Can they find their second? Into Abraham, tries to get away from Purcell, who got something on it. The ball trickles along and I think it'll be a corner, and it will. There's been times tonight where Timmy Abraham has been in positions to cross or shoot or whatever and it's not really come off for him, but physically he's really strong and he makes a lot of good decisions from that perspective. Yeah,
he's a handful. I would hate to play against him myself, but his final ball is definitely in the lacking. He gets into decent positions and he'll overhit a cross or up for a shot where he maybe should go for the pass and different things, but definitely direct, full of running, and he's probably wanted to prove a point that he probably deserved to play at a higher level type thing, but he's done okay.
There's a Newport player down and he was in the collision with Ryan Law and earlier on before Newport broke away and has stayed down. I can't quite identify which Newport player it is. He's getting some treatment at the moment to his right ankle by the look of things. Meanwhile, Argyle are making a substitution. It's Carlo Garside who is coming on and he's replacing Krask, Philly Krask. It's actually Zach Mayer, who was one of Newport's substitutes, that picked up the knock there. He's back on his feet, just being asked to go to the sideline by the referee. Garside for Krask. It's the Argyle substitution, both of whom have followed in footsteps of older brothers into the Argyle setup. Billy Krask and Rio Garside at other times. Carlo gets the chance to come on here and show what he can do in the final 7.5, 8 minutes. Meanwhile, Newport have a corner, and there is not a lot of intent to put this one into the middle. There is 1, 2 Newport players in the box. Most others are dotted around the edge. Argyle are wise to this and are trying to line up to prevent their incursion. Taken short, as you'd expect, and in the end pushed all the way back to nearly the centre circle. Indeed, now the second pass into that centre circle. Long is the next ball from Woody Wiss out towards Lewis. Has he kept it in? He has, takes it down and comes in field. That was nicely done. Then played out to Bright on the right hand side, cross to the near post. It's a little bit too close to the goalkeeper, or at least not close enough to the Newport forward. It was pounced by Burton Argyle, try and break down the right-hand side and win their own throw-in just inside Newport territory. It was an unorthodox corner, but it nearly paid some dividends there for Newport.
Yeah, it was a strange corner going back away to their own halfway line, really, and that they good switch of play, and it was decent play in the end, and the cross was just too near Burton. But the game's sort of petering out for Argyle. We're not really getting any chances anymore. It's all Newport at the moment.
A good ball from Livermore out to Cooper, and now to a chance here for Abraham to kill it, and he has. He's come in field and scored the goal. It's a really, really good goal from Newport. The ball from Livermore was exceptional. Abraham had played a part in the build-up there, played it in field. A great ball by Livermore out to Cooper. Forward came Abraham, took the touch, opened his body up, curled it into the corner. And I don't want to be too defeatist too soon, but that's probably game over.
I think so. I think it's a real struggle for us to get two back now, but Cooper really sort of clever pass, as you say, and into Abraham, and he's done well, hasn't he? He's cut in his right foot and he's done everything right. He was calm and he's just curled it into the corner. Burton, no chance.
If you were scripting it from a Newport perspective, you'd probably come up with the names Telford and Abraham to score the 2 goals, and that's what's happened. And the narrative on Timmy Abraham had been the end product. We'd seen precious little of it in the first 83, 84 minutes, but that time it was a nice turn and finish. Possibly you could say Argyle made it a bit easy for him. He had a lot of space, and as the game gets stretched out, he took advantage of that. But let's give the forward some credit and say it was a good finish and a lovely move, in fairness to Newport.
Yeah, it was. And to be honest, Abraham's final ball has been lacking at times, but he's worked very hard. He's run in behind. He's been a real handful all evening, and he's probably deserved his goal, if I'm honest. Yeah, it's been there'll be pleasing things for Argyle tonight. There was obviously a lot of young players getting more game time, and obviously the young division getting these remarkable age to get a start and things like that, and Wilson getting some game time as well. But yeah, I think they'll look back and think maybe they could have had more of a foothold of the game, dictated the game a bit more than they did.
Here's Garside getting a touch, having come on as a sub. Argyle do still have some time, only about 4 minutes plus whatever's going to be added on. And you never know, with competitions such as this, goal difference might be a thing. Here's Shirley just trying to turn on the edge of the box. It's cleared away and it falls neatly enough to Avondale, as Newport will easily bring this away, and they've gone back into their right back area and gone down the line. Yeah, as I say, there were 3 games to play in this competition. First and foremost, you win the other 2 and you'll get through, almost certainly. But secondly, you never know, could come down to goal difference, and Argyle getting one back could save themselves later down the line. Always play to the very end. And they might be able to start here, and if they score here, there will be time to get that equaliser. Free kick to Argyle on the left-hand side. They're getting closer and closer with these sort of inside free kicks from the deeper position. And just brings it back a couple more yards. Purcell has taken the last couple. He looks favourite again. Just waiting for the referee to march the wall back. As you might imagine, the wall ridiculously close, just to try to let this free kick take as long as it possibly can from the Newport perspective. Randall over the ball with Purcell. Again, 6 Argyle players along the penalty area line. Abraham and Garrick just have a little wrestling match at the moment. There's Purcell with a little clip ball in. Didn't quite fall to, I think it was Tomlinson that was trying to get his way in towards the ball's path. Newport clear. Headed back in with interest, and then long ball over the top towards Abraham again, and this time I think he's just going to run this one towards the corner. Holds it up, and then a little back heel to Lewis, who's bombing on still, late in the game for a full-back, but 2-0 up to be pushing on, but it meant they retained the ball there, Newport. Abraham this time loses out in a little bit of a physical battle to Garside, although I'm not sure if the referee's given a free kick or a throw in there. I think he's given a free kick, and that gives Newport even more time to just keep hold of this ball. If it stays this way, Brian, I think we've got to say that Newport deserve it on the night. They've been a bit more clinical, they've created more chances, but I don't want to be too down on this competition, because every competition you're in, every game you play to win. But tonight is about more than just the result, isn't it? If playing in this game means that a couple of these Argyle players are worth something or get into the first team years down the line, then this plays a part in that development as well. That obviously looks like I'm deflecting away from the result, which I kind of am, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. I think any footballer wants to go out and win a game. That's first and foremost. They're out there to win the game, and they're playing for the green shirt, really. So first and foremost, they'll be disappointed they lost the game, and they'll look at that. But then you're right. You have to look at the things that will bring the club forward, and that is young players getting more minutes, more experience. But the one thing I would say, none of these players have hid. They've gone 1-2-0 down. They still want the ball, and that's a big thing when you're a young player. When you're up against it, you still want the ball and you don't hide. So yeah, good signs for Argyle all round from a club perspective.
And we're not quite done yet. Let's see this out to its conclusion. Argyle trying to be quick down the left-hand side, trying to get the ball towards Shirley. Can he get himself into a position to get across in? It's Isaka now trying to get down the line, and he's blocked off. It's a corner. Argyle do have a chance in the last knockings here. 30 seconds to go as I speak, plus whatever is to be added on. Randall goes over to take a corner. Confirmation that the crowd tonight is 1,032 inside Rodney Parade, 155 from Argyle. Randall's corner. High to the far post again. Wilson underneath it, gets ahead on it. Didn't quite fall. Purcell was in there. There was a couple of other Argyle players just trying to get a toe on it. And yeah, Newport clear all the way back to Burton. And he allows Garside to clip a ball into the channel, looking for the run of Law. That's a great ball. He's picked out Law. The flag's gone up. It was a really good-looking ball from Garside. A bit of check side on it and everything, perfectly into the line of Ryan Law. But in his eagerness to create something down the left-hand side, he's drifted offside. And
he had backspin on that pass, didn't it? It was just like beautiful pass from Garside just into that space. But as you say, unfortunately, Law was offside. But yeah, as you said, Rob, lots of positives in the sense young players getting minutes and time, and that's they'll take from development. And as you say, that could favour them in their careers as they go on.
4 minutes were signalled by the fourth official to be added on. We've played about 40 seconds of that, so it really doesn't feel like Argyle will have enough time to get any points from this evening's game. Although a reminder that there's still a couple more to go in this competition. Swindon at home on October the 12th and Arsenal under 21s at home on November the 16th for the other games in this group stage. And again, those two teams are not playing tonight, they're playing next week. Shot from distance from Abraham, didn't get much on that one. Easily gathered by Burton, and he bowls it out underarm to Garrick, who quickly runs down the right flank and tries to run away from Telford, although their touch was really too heavy there. Had his head up looking to what he was going to do next, but ran the ball into Lewis. And that was easy enough for Newport to see out. And they'll go back through their goalkeeper. Obviously, our perspective, our focus, rightly, Brian, is on Argyle. But after a tough couple of weeks for Newport, a tough week really, starting from last Tuesday, conceding 11 and scoring none over the last week, they've dealt with this quite well, really. And I suppose they've had a bit more experience from the outset in this side than Argyle. They did have a few more senior players lining up than we did.
Yeah, if you look at the front two for them, obviously more experience. Are really two young lads with very few sort of league appearances under the belt. So, yeah, you would expect Newport to be the dominant team here this evening. But as you say, this is all about obviously first and foremost you want to go and get a result. But I think the bigger picture is that Argyle have got minutes in their legs for some of the players on the fringe and young players getting experience. So I wouldn't be too downhearted with this result.
A couple of minutes still to go. In towards Abraham again. He chests it down to Telford, who's just playing a bit deeper the longer this game's gone on. It's worked through the centre to Livermore. He's been a good, he looks a good asset for Newport, and he clips the ball over the top there towards Abraham. Did he keep it in? He did just about. And it's worked down the right hand side with Bright. Let that get away from him, but all Law could do was touch it out for another Newport throw in, which Ryan Law chases away to get hold of the ball, gives it to his opposite number and says hurry up, but Harrison Bright is not going to take this in any hurry. Timmy Abraham is down tying his shoelaces. The referee tells him to hurry up in doing that. Inside the final minutes. Bright's throw into the centre, flicked on for the runner coming through from midfield. I think it was Mayer. But it ran away from him. It's out for a goal kick, which Argyle take quickly, but they've only got 40 seconds or so to try and get anything out of this game. Garrick inside to Garside. And then Purcell. I'm going to try to stick to the philosophy even right to the end here. Although I might want to get it forward a bit quicker. There goes Wilson looking long towards Isaka. Picked up by Jenkins Davis, but he can't quite get it outside of Lewis. And with only about 10 seconds left on the watch, that probably is going to be all she wrote. Unless the referee wants to add on a little bit more the 4 minutes that was signalled. Lewis to take the throw. We've gone past that 4 minutes now. Lewis throws it backwards to Woodywis, into his goalkeeper Townsend. He hits it long down the right-hand side. It's headed on, but the whistle goes. In the present, Argyle lose this game 2-0 because the past came back to haunt them. Dom Telford and Timmy Abraham on the score sheet, but the future of Plymouth Argyle is what was mostly being written tonight, especially the history-making appearance from Freddie Isaka, who becomes the youngest ever player to play for Plymouth Argyle by some distance. It means that Argyle have a losing start to their Papa John's Trophy campaign. No points for them, 3 for Newport, with still a couple of games for either side to go in the Papa John's. It's always a disappointing night when you lose a game of football, but we've already mentioned that there are a few positives in terms of the future development of some of these Argyle players. And in its own little microcosm, this game, forget what will happen or may happen in the future. If you just take tonight's game on its own merit, Newport deserved it. They played better, they created more chances, etc. It wasn't a bad Plymouth Argyle performance, they were just slightly outdone on the night.
Yeah, I think there's maybe a bit of a lack of experience out there as well. You look at the Newport team; they had definitely more experience in the starting lineup. So, yeah, there's definitely not. There wasn't a horrendous performances out there. There's things to take away from the game, and I'm sure the management team will look at that, and they will look at the video and then help the players of things they could do better. But yeah, it's a first team game. It's a bit of experience, and we'll look to move on from it really. So yeah, nothing negative for me because it's young players getting more opportunities.
Brian, appreciate your company here this evening. Thank you for being with us once again here on Argyle TV. Before we go, I just want to mention what is coming up this Friday. Like I said, there's no first team fixture this weekend because the game against Portsmouth is postponed due to international call-ups. But there is a game in the Premier League Cup. On Friday, Argyle will be playing Exeter City at home park. It's a competition that's predominantly for players aged 23 and under. Clubs are allowed to play 3 older outfield players and a goalkeeper that could be over age in each game, and that takes place on Friday. We take on the Grecians at home park. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff, and the winners make it through to the group stages of the competition. It's a sort of Champions League style setup with several groups of 4 and the top teams progressing. If Argyle manage to make it through, then we will play Swansea, West Ham and Wolves in the next section, and some of those fixtures are already set out should it happen. We'll talk a bit more about that on Friday. So if you want to come along to the game, you are able to do so. There is more details on pafc.co.uk about that fixture, and there'll be more in the coming days about exactly how you can come in and get your tickets and so forth. Blocks 11, 12 and 13 of the Lyndhurst stand will be open. Tickets available from the Home Park ticket office online at argyletickets.com or by calling the usual number 01752 907700. The game will also be screened on Argyle TV, so I'll be with you again on Friday for that game, and so you can again go to pafc.co.uk for more information of how to purchase a match pass for that game for £2.50, and you can watch it live on Argyle TV. That's the next time we will be with you. The next first team game, of course, is a little bit further ahead than that. It will be a week on Saturday at home to Sheffield Wednesday. All of that action available on Argyle TV. Once again, we thank you for your company this evening. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you on Friday.